Hi, hello. Happy Thursday. If you're watching this on replay, because I just started. I am so tempted at drinking this hot chocolate. But if I drink it, then I'll fall asleep. So I made it, especially because I made one earlier. Getting right in weird random stuff. I made a hot chocolate earlier and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And also it got me so sleepy. Anyways, it's been a while, so I'm awkward at this. Right now, I'm feeling very awkward. Um, Not that awkward. I just don't know where to start. I feel discombobulated. I feel like I don't know how to start this. It's been a while. It's been 3 months at this point since I've been on. So, yeah, and I'm coming back with Taylor Swift instead of Blake Lively. We're going to talk a little bit about the Blake Lively stuff. There's a lot happening. Whoo, there's a lot happening on that. There's a lot that's been happening, but we're all still here. So, you know, what's a couple of months? And also I was watching a lot of videos not trying to, but curious about the whole Taylor Swift situation. And some other topics came up about like J-Lo and Ben Affleck. That's not that newsworthy as I guess it is. There's, from what I've seen, nothing there. And Meghan Markle, and those are like minor topics. So yeah, I might do that at the beginning. I might do that at the end. I don't know. I'll do that at the beginning because those again are very minor. We're going to go really fast through them, and then I'm going to settle into the Taylor Swift topic because I don't feel good and I don't feel bad that, but I do feel surprised, and I guess somewhat pleasantly surprised that there's a lot of backlash to Taylor's new album from her own fans. I do feel like some pigs are flying. Not all the pigs, because not everyone's like, that spinning wheel meme. Not everyone's like that on this album, but a lot of fans are. And I think some fans are more really mm, not authentic, because everyone's authentic. Well, not everyone. A lot of people I feel are not authentic, but yeah, a lot of some fans are more authentic about their experience, their actual honest reaction, and they're less censored, um, or more realistic than I was expecting. Honestly, I was not expecting this. I was not. But anyways, let's quickly talk about um Blake Lively stuff. The contract came out. I'll probably do this at the end if there is enough time, if I feel like going further with this. All of the contract came out that she didn't sign. So I don't even know how relevant this is. It's very kind of muddy at this point. Ooh, yeah, if it's relevant, if it's voiding itself, if there's a lot going on. Um, so yeah, I'm going to actually just get into the Taylor Swift of it all, honestly. All right. Well, first off, I did not know about chasing Kelsey. That was to adopt this new phrase, this new term, extremely cringe. Oh my gosh. That is like The Bachelor, but like a whole bunch worse, like really bad. And I found this out because there's a lot of talk. Well, not a lot. I think there should be a bit more talk around why he was dating a certain demographic of women, so to speak. Not so to speak. What am I? I'm really rusty. A certain demographic of women, and then suddenly he's not. and he's getting married. I do understand and a lot of people outside of the US, I don't think would understand that my there's a cliche to that. And that's uncomfortable. But besides that, right now, let's just focus on just why is this show? Why did this show exist? Why? And you know what it made me think of? It made me think of what people say about Jay Z and Beyonce. Is this it? But like worse because Jay Z was extremely well off in his respective career. Beyonce also, maybe he helped her, but eh, Destiny's Child was good. Like, so I think it's worse because Travis Kelce, yeah, he was known, but not like megastar, not on the same level like Jay Z and Beyonce. I feel like even though she was much younger, they're kind of the same. And not to like compare, it's a weird comparison, or maybe it's a little too much. But like honestly, I feel watching this Chasing Kelsey or whatever, I felt like, did he really want to be this famous? Guess, like, in a way, they kind of found each other on that, or he found a way to be as famous as he wanted to be, because not many people just do a random dating show just for themselves. And he did a bunch of other things. So that would make me kind of uncomfortable, but I also don't know the person. And sometimes, people can be very driven and, you know, one way publicly and then professionally, and then in private, they might be very different and really good, humble, normal human beings. Normal is relative. So I guess I don't know, but that's the first thought that came to mind when I watched clips of this Jason Kelsey thing. I'm not talking too much about him, but that was like one of the points. Again, I'm kind of going from like least to talk about to most right now, at least. Um, I already kind of mentioned my first thoughts on this album, and they were not good. I was really surprised. I think it might be the first album that I waited up to listen to. I don't remember if I stayed up for Tortured Poets or Midnights, and before those two, I was not the hugest fan. Um, I've been background on me. I've been a Taylor Swift fan, but not a Swiftie, because I've not bought much of, actually have not bought anything. The only thing that I bought was one of the Lover Journal packages things. And it almost kept me journaling. So that was actually a very good purchase, very well, um, what do you call that, when it yielded a lot more than it took away. I don't know. Again, I'm very rusty. um, so yeah, so that was like cool. And I really love that album. And I've heard this album being compared to that. This would be the very cheap version of that. I'm just gonna put it out just from was. And I was kind of shocked at how bad, even melodically, it was. Because there were good melodic moments, but it seemed a little Frankenstein. A lot of the songs that were actually good, I feel like, well, I love this chorus, but I could take or leave the verses, or the opposite, but not so much the opposite. I think it was just the chorus heavy. Like, if you could just have the refrains or the focus or choruses, if you could just have that and that be the whole album, that would actually be maybe pretty good. There would be a lot more songs. There's a lot more choruses that I like from this album than songs themselves. Um, but yeah, But yeah, I loved Lover. I loved it. I think to beat it, between Lover and Reputation, and even folklore, take it or leave it, midnights, even tortured poets, which was pretty much all Maddie Healy, I think, right? Um, I feel like her exes, the ex guys, especially Joe, will be somewhat deep down happy that they got pretty good quality songs out of their relationship, and for them good quality love songs, good quality breakup songs, good quality hate you songs, and just everything in between, all the emotion and the depth and the maturity. Like, those albums were mature. Lover was a very mature album. The Archer was one of the most insightful and wise songs. And yeah, they were all just very good quality, both sonically, lyrically, material wise, all that stuff. And I feel like the product reflects the inception of it. I never thought about Travis Kelce, or I haven't thought about like sports people that much in general. And I generally have been someone who is not very judgmental. I've been this year quite judgmental with this Blake Lively case. I've been finding my side that's a lot more judgmental. So I would say from that place that the material reflects the person it talks about. It's not very deep. It's immature. It has that dumb jock kind of very bad American humor to it, like, just fart jokes, but on a little higher level, meaning higher just because you have different topics to talk about, like wood. That is a really disgusting song. And I actually did not use that word. I did not think of it that way. But fans of Taylor Swift, like diehard fans, have mentioned that. And um it is yeah, and when like it's very shallow, the whole all of the songs, even so high school, they're very I remember, okay, let me look this up because at that time I don't like that song. Um, and I just had the lyrics. Oh gosh. And there was something that really bothered me. I'm watching American Pie with you on a Saturday night. That basically explains. And in my mind, when I heard this album, didn't think of that song and that phrase, all that stuff. But I was thinking like, um, this is why she didn't work out with Joe Alwyn and others, Harry Styles, all the others pretty much. Even Maddie Healy, because she is not that deep. She writes very deep songs, but I don't think she's that deep. I think she's very much still a teenager. How people have talked about, like, people that get famous are kind of stunted at the age that they got most famous at. And I think she is that kind of humor, that low American Pie type of humor. I will say fart jokes, but again, it's not middle school, it's like high school and college. So different topics, but the same thing. It's not very intelligent, it's not very deep, it's not kind. And I think that she was attracted to the poets, the tortured poets, the high class, the intellectuals, the musicians that were about art, Maddie Healy, and even Joe Alwyn. You can say if he's good or bad. I don't really have. I don't care one way or another. But he's very intentional about what he watches, what he agrees upon doing. Watches. Like I said, I'm very rusty, and I don't have my usual, like, the camera didn't um Oh my gosh, I can't even think. I can't even use words. Camera. The battery didn't charge. Wow. But yeah, so it makes sense a bit, on a judgmental side, why she didn't work out with those guys because she was not deep. She has a song in Lover, I'll save the dirtiest jokes for, or you save the dirtiest jokes for me. And the thing is, Joe was what, 6 years, 4 years younger than her. So, he probably kind of grew up when she didn't because he didn't get that famous yet or at that time. Um, so he kept growing and then he was surrounding himself with intellectual conversations, at least as far as we know. I'm not saying he's not doing dirty jokes and he doesn't have that sense of humor or whatever, but there's signs in was it in Midnight? No. Was it in Evermore? There's signs in songs that came after that. He does not seem like the dumb jock type. He does not seem like someone who you could watch American Pie with, or you could, but like not all the time. But the American Pie wasn't the one that I remembered. The which one? Truth Dare, Spin Bottles. You know how to ball. I know Aristotle. Clearly, she's got pulled back from that. Um, Touch me while your bros play Grand Theft Auto. That line. If you know me, you know that I have nothing against gaming. And I even will agree to disagree. I don't think I'm a gamer, but I play video games, not as much, but and I have nothing against it. I have nothing against guys playing it in relationships, whatever, like women can like crochet. Lately crocheting has been on the rise, right? And so like whatever. Um but the specific phrasing, the specific imagery, it's like it's just juvenile. So it was insight to me as far as like if she would write love songs and what this love is. And so like for a second when she got engaged, I was a little bit like, oh yeah, goals, whatever. But then when you like sit back, it's like I don't want that relationship. I don't like that kind of guy. I don't want someone who's like not being, leveling up intellectually and emotionally and whatever. And yeah, like it's fun to have these like moments, but it doesn't seem based on this album that these are moments that are like flirty and like, whatever. It seems like even when it's just the two of them and it's like every day, it doesn't seem like a very deep, but again, who knows? Who knows? But it does not come across as very deep, very meaningful, love of your life type of stuff. And I don't think that's because she's happy. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, she's just like happy," and she even said that basically, if you don't resonate, then you won't enjoy an album or a song. And the way that she sees these songs are her in a very playful, funny, happy place, except she's not. And one of the things that is kind of a comparison is Sabrina's Men's Best Friend. She's not happy, but those songs are happier and those songs are more empowered and fun, like a whole bunch funnier. And I didn't like Sabrina Carpenter. I don't like sexual kind of songs, like not that much. Like, like let me have like one innuendo or something. Like, don't give me a whole album of them. And yet, I really, really enjoyed Sabrina's album, this latest album. It was so incredibly well made, like lyrically the puns hit, they hit well. It was good quality writing wise. It was amazing quality production wise. Her voice, and yeah, Taylor is not a vocalist. Everyone talks about that. But still, like, let's appreciate Sabrina's voice. And like I was saying to a friend, like her diction sucks, but like her voice is good. And but the production and the theme of it was great. I will say a positive thing about The Life of a Showgirl is that every song was a different type of sound. And I took away from that, one thing I'll give the song Wood is that it, she should make more songs like that. Not lyrics wise, please don't. No. No. I'm sure some people want that. Not everyone wants to hear that stuff. We don't care, and it's really embarrassing and ridiculous. But for whatever. But as far as like singing style and genre, she should make more of that. And it would be cool because is it kind of disco? Like not many people are making that sort of music. So yeah, it kind of reminds me very slightly of Where's My Husband by Ray, right? Is that the song title? And I love that song. And I mean, it's not quite the same genre, but kind of, I don't know. I don't really know those like older genres. Um, but it's like it's really cool and fresh and it really fit Taylor's voice and just style. She can do well with that. But that was the only one that stood out for me as far as like, "Ooh, this is a great sound. She should do a whole album like this. Go do something like this." But yeah, I did appreciate that every song sounded, maybe not every song, but sounded like a different genre. Not very different from each other, but yeah. And on the opposite side of that, at the same time, the lyrics and the melody of the lyrics, I forget if there's a name for that. That was very repetitive. It was repetitive with their own self on the same album between the songs, and also repetitive with um the sorry, I get in my head like, oh my gosh, I'm so rusty, this is so painful. I'm not flowing, it's getting repetitive with like her old stuff. Some of it was very much like her old stuff. I mean, and I haven't even listened to how she basically stole or, use this, let's say sampled right now. But Life of a Showgirl was not sampled. The Life of a Showgirl was just the lyrics just changed. Literally, that was all. I was shocked. I just saw that. I did have it somewhere here. I'm like going all over the place and I don't know where I am in my notes. Um Anyways, I might come back to that. But yeah, you can look it up. That was shocking. Um as far as like these random like shocks, eldest daughter was apparently making people's videos like not blocked or whatever, not showing up. Um, and it's interesting because Swiftologist, that was the first one where he was appalled. And I mean, I kind of got some delight in that just because it wasn't so much like, oh, I want her to fail or whatever. Although part of it, yes, just as far as like, I want her to be humbled, not fail, but humbled. Unlikely that will happen. Maybe it has happened with this, but I was happy that he was fair because it was his reaction was worse than mine actually, I think, to that song. Um but yeah, so I wonder if that's why, because there's a lot of speculation that she's and her team are pulling down different articles and critiques and criticisms of her, um, not just flooding SEO, but like just deleting. scrubbing articles apparently, that are criticizing of her. So I wonder if that's the reason why eldest daughter was kind of doing that. Maybe she realized it was a crappy song. Um, yeah, I don't even remember that song, honestly. I think that it wasn't that I'm not a bad person, and this isn't Savage, which people are linking it to Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm like, okay, that's probably more what it was referencing. But I thought of Ariana Grande, Seven Rings. Um, yeah. Side note with sampling and stuff, copying, whatever. I when I heard Lover, I still to this day, it kind of bugs me so much because I really love the original song that she kind of took a couple of bars from These Four Walls by Miley Cyrus. I don't remember I think it was Aftermath, Afterglow, Afterglow. Um, and hey, it's all me in my head. I'm the one who burned us down, but it's not what I meant. Sorry that I hurt you. Um, that part sounded a lot like These Four Walls. Um, I think different enough, you could say, although I don't know that she would have let it slide. So I'm pretty sure that people who really know music would know that she, wherever she like sampled, borrowed, copied, whatever she did from different songs. But this album is getting like burned from that. And if it was intentional, like some people say, sh I don't know if she would have mentioned it, but she should have mentioned it. The only original songwriters that are credited are George Michael, and I don't even feel like that was very alike to the original song. It was like a different beat. It's a very different from what I remember that song being. Unlike Life of a Sugar Girl, which was exactly to Jonas Brothers. I don't listen to Jonas Brothers, so I didn't pick on that. I didn't pick that up, but yeah. Okay, let's actually go through my notes in some sort of order because I'm getting all over the place. Um, yeah, so talked about eldest daughter. Um, engagement with the album rollout. That was interesting. And I think it goes into what I said at the beginning that Travis really wanted to be extremely famous. And could it be that these both of these people are on the narcissistic spectrum? And because there's something that's said about successful people, the ones that are really driven to be successful, either through accolades or money, that they're on the spectrum of, was it narcissism or sociopathy? I think sociopathy. I don't know because people are saying this a lot. There's no ethical billionaires. People say, I don't know. I can imagine that there are, but I think it's hard to, unless you do actually catch lightning in a bottle with a patent with something, and it's, I don't know. I think it is very difficult to be ethical and to be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. Um, and famous to a degree. I think there are people that are not, but there are also so many people that are famous that are searching to fill that void of not being seen or loved, accepted, included, which is all of us. But like some people really go towards the light, literally the spotlight. And I think I wonder, but I do feel like that decision, the engagement, and the album coming out, I mean, he 100% knew about the album coming out or vice versa. Um, so I don't know if it was his decision or their decision. I I have a hard time seeing that not be a marketing situation, which is not fun. And what is also not fun is that she's promoting this and she's kind of doing what Blake did after mm, Another Simple Favor, and there was, I think, something else where she was just suddenly so everywhere that no one wanted her there, but she was there. This is kind of what I feel with Taylor. Suddenly she's promoting an album that is not that amazing, but when she had Tortured Poets, which I think is amazing, she was on tour, so she was locked in to that. But maybe it's just coincidence. I feel like she's going way, excuse me, way too hard on promoting this album. I just have like it's so hard for me to understand how she can be so excited about this. Like, is she not? Because I wonder if she's so, especially with what she was saying on Zalo today or yesterday or whenever it came out. I wonder if she's at the level where no one says no to her. She doesn't allow people, not necessarily like by force, but just by understanding implicitly. She doesn't allow people to say no to her, to criticize her, to tell her, "Hey, I don't know about this. This isn't great." Um, and same with the producers and everything. Like, are they able to actually listen and hear what they're doing? I think when you're coming up and you're starting out, you're so much more like freaked out to be perfect, which is also not good, but it helps. When she was criticized for Red, or she felt like, oh, she should have won the Grammy, or maybe she did, I don't know. She was disappointed that she wasn't critically acclaimed for that album. She did 1989, I think, right? Or was Red the one? I don't know. And since then she's been putting out these themed albums, which I think are beautiful and just like so amazing to have that kind of like body of work be very thematic. But okay, not everything's like that. Cool. um this could have been yeah, I don't know, this could have been better, but I do wonder if it's people like she should listen to critics of this album, of anything really. um just started this Skillshare art journaling course, and it one of the things was like, you must reflect on whatever you just painted, drew, whatever, whatever you just made. You have to take 30 seconds to just look at it and really reflect, what do you like, what do you don't like. And I would go further and say come back to it, and maybe they did, but I it sounds like this was like one-off writing and producing and everything, and they didn't really do that reflective part well, because it was just, I mean, some of it was just bad anyways. um but yeah, the engagement part of it was, yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of relieved of the pressure to have, and I'm sure everyone, and I'm sure it seems like, apparently, I think I was watching It's Keisha, and she was saying that a lot of guys say, please don't like Taylor Swift, please don't be a Swiftie about girls on dating apps or whatever, because I think there is a lot of pressure, and I think there's immaturity to some of the advice. Again, I think Lover has great advice, actually. The Archer being one, like, are you the problem? Antihero is also that, but then that went into more on that satire, whatever side of it. Um, But yeah, because we do have to look inward, and I don't think that young people need any more encouragement to not look inward and blame the other person. I mean, they're just going to be really up, set up for failure in relationships, because you are not perfect. And I think that she's not giving necessarily like the best example of how to be treated, um, and how to treat yourself. Like I was kind of saying with these other guys before, like, did it really not work out with them? Is he really Travis this like knight in shining armor? I guess for her, yes, but like, is he really for anyone besides her? Or would you prefer someone that's more intelligent and, higher level quality of thought and feelings and stuff? I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think it relieved a lot of pressure for any side of relationships when this album came out. After the engagement, oh, so cute, whatever. Terrible caption, by the way. Your English teacher and math teacher, whatever. Like, I didn't care about the teachers at school. I feel like that must be a reference to some movie or something, because I'm like, this is stupid. And until today, I actually didn't even understand what that meant. I might be stupid. I might be the stupid one, but yeah. Just like I kind of understand now. I I've been number one but never had two or whatever. But again, that's like stupid writing because it's not really understandable, especially I don't even know how many Americans understand that, or English speakers. You have to do mental acrobatics to understand that line, and that's not really good when you're doing songwriting. But she, so far, has been a master at making lyrics that are convoluted but digestible enough to be able to like bite your teeth into and like understand and stuff. So or like at least be able to figure it out and not have it be shallow and a dead end like this one. Sorry, I'm still deviating. All right. So Taylor, in her own words, was saying that, and this is in her own words, I wanted to do an album that was so focused on quality and on the theme and everything fitting together like a perfect puzzle. You failed at that. I can do it with a broken heart. People are saying I can do it with a broken heart. It was a lot more Life of a Showgirl. And that is like exactly Life of a Showgirl. That is exactly Life of a Showgirl. People are trying to say in some of these comments, because I got into comment sections, which I don't usually do, but I think since I've done lives myself, and then when I was trying to or not trying, oh my gosh, my brain. When I attended, what am I speaking? I'm also coming from like 2 months abroad. So English brain not working. When I went on other people's lives, like I got used to actually engaging. So I'm commenting more, but people are saying, well, oh, this is like the back, behind the curtain stuff of a showgirl. It's not, about being on stage. And I'm like, we're saying the same thing, that this album should be about life behind the curtain. That was what we agree on, we were expecting of this album. Where we disagree is that this is not that. It's almost like she had this concept, and this one actually breaks my heart. It makes me feel that stress of like missed opportunity, and that regret, because it had the, oh my gosh, it had the visuals, all of these beautiful pictures with her and a showgirl. It had the theme, it had such an amazing concept, etc., etc. And then somehow maybe she got engaged and it's like, you know what? I actually want to talk about this. Well, she got engaged after she announced the album, but somehow like I feel like just shifted focus to this crap. And this is crap. This should have not been this album. That should have been the album. And, if she was waiting for number 13 to make, like, a deep, meaningful album about what it's like behind the curtain, I would say get over your superstition and quirk. It's not really a superstition, quirk of number 13, and just freaking put out a good album when you have one, and not like, oh, I can't, if she has like songs that she wrote about life of a girl, but like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is exactly that, because she's literally saying in the song that, I'm putting on a show, I'm smiling, I'm coming out here, and I'm looking like I'm having the time of my life, but then I break down as soon as the lights are off. I am miserable. I am extremely brokenhearted. I just went through this breakup and another breakup. I don't know when she wrote it exactly. And but I'm still getting up there, and almost because like she had to at that point, right? But like she also made that choice herself. She created that tour and stuff. um so like that would have been great. Even Canceled is a decent one for that, Life Behind the Curtain. Life of a Showgirl, the song is okay, but I think it was also Swiftologist that was saying, who are these people that she's talking about, that she's referencing? It's convoluted, confusing, something. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really even take too much notes on that song because eh, it was okay. But I agree. And always it comes back a lot. The lesson that I learned in songwriting class, that um, you have to be very vulnerable and specific, because that's how people connect to you, but not too specific and not too vague for them to not know what the freaking thing you're talking about. You need to not lose your audience. And the thing is that when you're very vulnerable and real, you won't, because we do have these universal um themes, I guess. When you're talking about, I think it was in The Eldest Daughter, you're talking about trolls on the internet, and then you go to, I'm not a bad person, I'm not a savage, or this isn't savage, but I'm never going to break your heart, I'm not going to let you down, which I don't even understand what those have to do with each other to begin with. And then you go into, I broke my arm falling off of this like friend's trampoline when I was 8 or 9. You don't even know your age. And then and I say that, but that's kind of more like the country type of writing, which is great, but like she was all over the place on that song. And then gosh, where was I going with that? Um oh yeah, like I think because I was like so specific, and yet not like it was just like just a mess. I don't even know. I think it's like it's not so much, I mean, my take on what that songwriter professor said, and songwriter in his own right, was that you have to not be selfish in songs. Being vulnerable is not the same thing as being selfish. I think we talk sometimes about lately about like in relationships, there's this like phrasing going around of trauma bonding. And it's not really trauma bonding, but what people refer to is like you're commiserating basically. And it is a bonding technique, and it's healthy, but not indulging into that. And I feel like there's that fine line, right? Or maybe not that fine, but there's a line between me, and like me. That probably didn't make much sense. But anyways, but yeah, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of Let me pull up the Life of a Showgirl track list. Oh, we're going to talk about Opalite. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Father figure also. I don't like it because I feel like it's so 2000s and 2010s to have women against women and to like put down younger women, women who are not as successful, and keep your crown. I personally feel that way. So father figure and actually romantic, I hated that for her. And I hated that because it doesn't matter what she wants as much. She is a role model. So she should always be aware of that and keep that in mind. And I don't think that's a good role model thing to do. Um, I think it's so last year to be that vengeful and that cruel. Actually, romantic is actually so cruel. Once I heard Sympathy is a Knife by Charlie XCX and kind of the backstory. And I understand that Charlie made her own digs at Taylor and her fans. Um, I do think that she should set a better example because she is a multi-billionaire right now. And she is extremely powerful beyond her money. And just go to therapy, girl. Just go to therapy. Um, I don't know. I have a hard time just how uncomfortable I've felt with Ruin the Friendship, which people say, oh, that's so cute. I think it's very disturbing and disrespectful to her friend. I also realized that it's been quite a few years. I didn't know it was that old, the story and what happened. Hi, Ken. Yes, please do. You know, positive or negative, you're welcome. um, but yeah, so I think that Ruin the Friendship was, to me, it felt very uncomfortable listening to it because it was just, I felt so frivolous at the beginning and then it got so deep. And I can understand if she thought, maybe this is what happened on this album. She overthought this album and everything in it to the point that it, like a circle, came back to zero and it was bad. Because I can understand when if she was trying so hard to like create a shock value song and shock value moment in that song. I just I feel like that's distasteful personally. But um I forget what I was saying. Anyways. All right, let's see. Felt like catching lightning in a bottle, she said about the album. It's her most favorite album. Um, I said confused is more so the theme for most reviewers, including fans. Um, oh, I also said this album is not Lover. I don't understand why people don't like Lover. I really don't understand that. I feel like, again, it's maybe because her audience is younger and less like, maybe they didn't go to therapy that much and they aren't very self-aware and don't have that much humility when it comes to relationships and even as deep feeling, because I feel like for pretty much all of the guys before, but especially for Joe Alwyn, I feel like she went very deep in herself and tried. When I listen to So Long London, it's a song of such defeat, and I don't know, I just believe her. I really believe her in that song. Like, I moved, you know, continents. I moved for you, and you leave me at home alone, kind of. idea, whether literally or figuratively. She, I think, abandoned a lot of herself, and maybe she swung way too far in the other direction now with Travis and with this album, because being yourself is not always perfect, it's not always good. That's why you need to do the inner work and figure out what is good and what is maybe, outdated coping mechanisms, and maybe it hurts other people and stuff. So maybe that heartbreak and the fact that the way that it seemed she reflected consistently on that, in that relationship based on the songs that she wrote, drove her to be this shallow, crass, stupid moment that we're in with her. Too far on the other side. I agree with this. Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's kind of like when people, the cliche of girls dating guys that, because they don't do their inner work, they keep choosing and attracting painful things in guys, emotionally unavailable or whatever. And then they suddenly go towards being to like dating girls. Was it on I think I was watching a recent show or something. Last of Us. I was watching Last of Us, and it wasn't even recently. It was like a few weeks ago on the plane, where I saw the episode where, spoiler alert, I don't know how long this has been out, but this is towards the end. Ellie tells, I think Dina is her name. I don't know. She tells her this, like, is this for real or are you just like experimenting? Um, I think it was her. And so that's like, that's hurtful and painful, and no one should have to like worry about that. A. B, I feel it's kind of the same train of thought of when you're um keep like slamming yourself toward in like adversity and hardship, and instead of like actually learning the lesson, you just like go all the way on the other side of things, and yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe they can grow together, her and Travis, but I don't know. Um, Man, this is going to be interesting now that I think about it in those terms. It's going to be a very interesting relationship because they're already engaged. And yeah, like what happens if she does kind of wake up and see, like, you know what? Like, I need you to like be a little bit like level yourself up a little bit. um I mean, I think that he would be fine. I really feel like he's in it for the celebrity. I don't think that he doesn't like her. I don't think that he's not attracted to her. Although, like, we'll talk about the dating stuff and his, and maybe that's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so much to talk about. But yeah, that might be it. I don't know. Yeah, I hate the way that she's trying to present this album like it's so much better than it is. Just like say, "Hey, I like it. Eh, it's not for everyone, I guess. Oh well." Because she was just talking about how she is tired to like think about every single word that she says or every single thing that she does. And they, celebrities in general, they have to be so polished, and she's tired of that. So, like, cool. So stop being polished and stop being defensive. Again, go to therapy and figure that stuff out and stop being defensive and say, oh, I guess it's not translating the way I meant it to translate. Like, seriously, like, where is the humility in that? Which makes me think she might still be somewhat friendly with Blake Lively or something. Hold on. Odette? No. Because yeah, like the accountability, responsibility, they don't really seem to understand that. And I was kind of hoping that, like, oh, Selena Gomez seems to have done therapy and been better, but I've been hearing some like interesting things about Selena, so like, nah, maybe whatever, whatever. Their relationship kind of feels too surface level for my brain to comprehend. I love that phrasing of it. Yeah, I think it's like mismatched to how it's being described and presented by the fans. When they started dating, it was like everyone felt this collective breath of fresh air, like, oh, look at that, he's holding the door, opening the door for her, and holding her purse, and he's treating her right. I mean, from like a few photos. But we all, I think, the people who, and I feel like at that point I wasn't too far from being like attached in this way to like her outcome and herself, and because like the songs were so vivid of how she was feeling inside and through the relationship situation she had gone through for the past few albums. So I think either like how people felt in their life and or how connected they were to her, like, oh, she deserves to be happy because she keeps freaking telling us how sad she is. So like, here's this guy, like he seems like really good for her and like wholesome and whatever, which I don't think is that wholesome, but it depends on your definition of wholesome. And yeah, so I think there was a lot of build up to how perfect they were and how couples goals they were and how like good and deep the relationship would be, should be, because people wanted that. And with this engagement, I think people wanted that. And like, why would you get engaged if it's not deep and it's surface level? So I personally feel like that makes me think, your comment makes me think of um what's that, oh gosh, early on in the Blake stuff, we're talking about this, like that discordance or whatever. Oh, I forget what it's called. But yeah, when you're like being told to believe like the sky is blue, but people are like, no, the sky is gray. And you're like, or, green or whatever. And you're like, but I see it blue. And it's that, mismatch. But yeah, yeah. Or like just simply, like, why would you be engaged if it's not that deep? Yeah. But, whatever. I mean, I can understand her being like tired of depth if it didn't work out for her, because it also like, it's not just her that needs to like work on herself and go to therapy and stuff. Maybe she did go, but Joe didn't, and so like both people needed to work in kind of together to like make that work. So maybe that's even more so, like she did go, although it doesn't seem like it based on these songs. Maybe she did go, and then it was just like useless because he didn't. And um yeah, anyways, keep on going. Taking on aspects of the people you're dating. So I think this is Swiftologist again that was saying this. And I mean, he hit the nail on the head. How there's like Tay British. I don't remember her being very British, but anyways, Tay tortured poets. Again, I don't think so. She's been a tortured poet since like pretty much day one. So, but Tay frat bro. That's basically a nicer way to say what I guess I was trying to say, which is like there's not much up there. There's a lot down there. Hold on. My dog, no. Oh, besyo. Oh, besyo. Hi. Oh, she couldn't get on the bed. I don't know what. Um. So yeah. So Tay frat bro. Yeah, she's a frat bro. She then like I guess cool. I don't think we need more of those. I think I would personally like to see evolution of mankind, but anyways, she's trying that out. I think the point that I wanted to make by writing that though was that yeah, like we do. I think I almost want to say if you're lucky and if you're smart enough and wise enough, you do um experiment at least with like your partners or the people that you like, their interests, because and maybe I'm not saying that right, but I remember or I look back and I think of how much more I know and I was exposed to because I did that when I was into a guy. Or even with friends when I like made a new friend, which was like less so when I was into a guy, like I would adopt, not so much adopt, but I would start listening to the style of music that he listens to, or like just sort of like kind of try on aspects of or things that he would like until this past relationship. And then I was like, no, they should do that for me. This next one should like learn my language. And because I don't think that I dated anyone that was foreign, but yeah, learn my language. And it was just like important for me, the language part. And Cardi B said it really well, like study me. I didn't think of it at that time. But yeah, like whoever he is, I was saying this like so many years ago, but like he should study me. He should like I've been studying people all this time. I've been the one that was so invested in like what music do they like? What food is their favorite food? I freaking oh my gosh, I strained a smoothie for a guy because he had Crohn's disease. So, like I spent so many years, over a decade or a decade at that time, trying to like understand the other person and get to know the other person and show up for them and like also expand my knowledge with different style of music or um clothing genre. Like I remember I had my like emo or goth, I wouldn't even say phase because it was so short that I wouldn't even call it a phase. But yeah, I dyed my hair black and I wore like almost wore black clothing. I didn't really like that. But I was like, I stepped a little bit. I dipped a toe or two in it because I like that person, and I was like, oh, I want to understand life through their eyes. So maybe that's what she's doing, and maybe in time it'll balance out a bit more. I hope Travis is doing that with her too. It seems like he is, but I don't know if he can. I'm sorry, I'm being so mean right now about him. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have had a tiny bit of this fat bro sort of thing, or I would call it like American Pie type of humor, this like American style of being. And yeah, but not this much. No, I just can't. I cannot stomach it. I could not stomach it. Um, mm, this is interesting. So there's a lot of conversation around how she's outgrown her past self and her persona, and her audience has also outgrown that, so she's growing with them or isn't. I would say this album is actually going so backwards to like high school. And she had that song, So High School, but like no one really wants to hear it when like if she's really about her audience, which she said she's not, she's just about money, literally in her words. If her name or her album, the name of the album is in your mouth, you're speaking it, that's what she cares about. She doesn't care if you like it or not. Um, but if she would care about, the artistry or whatever of it, um, I forget what I was saying, but yeah, the people, her original fans, sorry, that's where I'm back on track, are like over 30 or like around 30 and older. And so people are having kids, they are getting married, they're not, they're, cat or dog people, they're kid people, like whatever. But like, I would hope they're wiser and not still stuck in high school. And so I would say that whoever is saying that she has outgrown her old immature self, and I have that specific quote somewhere. Oh, Taylor Swift, I forget who said this. Um, oh, this guy, of course. Like elementary and she's outgrown it. Um, except her brand is actually more mature than it seems that she is, or this relationship is. Or again, like we're also, I feel like we cannot get sidetracked enough about how this album is called Life of a Showgirl. The visuals are about being a showgirl, and she's not really talking about it. She just made another album about like singing about a guy, which that's not a problem. It's just those themes are not going together. They're not the same thing. Sorry, they're not. Um, let's see. Found this guy online.
She could do a cute little two-step, but Madonna is that girl because she changed the way that we engage with music videos. She
Wait.
million in a week. Reputation over a million in a week. The lady is the biggest artist of this generation in terms of charting, so famous for dance, right? She could do a cute little two-step. Equality and particularly in particular the sexuality of women, right? Like
Okay, I don't know, but he says it. Go check it out. I'll include the link in the description once I'm done. Um, I haven't most of his stuff, most of his videos, so I want to go back and listen. But yeah, but and then he says, because at first I was like, oh no, what are you going to say? Because it sounds like you're praising her. But he also says kind of the same thing, like her brand is sophomoric, elementary, and she's outgrown it, and yet this album is a flop because of that, because she in this album does not go with that growth. She goes backwards, and her audience has also outgrown it, and they're kind of left hanging, like it's kind of like, hey, I'm bringing food tomorrow, and you bring like rice wafers when people are like starving. Let's not say starving because it's been like a year or something since her, or 2 years since her last album. But, like they're expecting a feast or ice cream or something good. And you're giving them like not even wheat crackers, but like rice puff crackers. I don't know if it's the same thing, but like I went to like a Catholic mass, and not recently, but like they would have these like wafers like that, which is like thin air basically. That's kind of what she's doing to her audience, to most of them. And for on the other side, for people that say it's creepy that she's singing appealing to 14-year-olds, I hope 14-year-olds are not listening to this album, especially Wood, but like the whole album. No, you focus on school because this album is not. Uh, I feel like the adults would have a consensus on this is not how life is. So just feel free to skip it, and yeah, be 14. But yeah, like it's really childish. Middle school, some people say, I say high school because I'm older, so I didn't we were not that woken up in middle school in my lifetime. But anyways, um so when your audiences are outgrowing you and they're even younger than you, I feel like that should be a problem. And there's people that say like leave the past in the past. And I agree with that too. Like, enough of this, like, I'm scorned by this other woman singer or whatever, and like she did me dirty. So I'm going to like do this like really powerful diss track. Like, where's the peace, love, and compassion? Where is the like again, maturity? I'm not gonna be tired of saying that. Like, be mature. There is no like, why should she turn the other cheek? Like, because like the world is so messed up right now. Which, let's talk about that for a second. How people are pointing out how this like tone deaf marketing strategy that she had for the past one, especially, of like multiple versions of the same album, and people are buying all of them and stuff. And first of all, I feel like you're preying on the weakest links of your fans, because the most the I don't think a lot of the rich people are buying these. I think it's like a scarcity mindset. I think it's um a stressful mindset and state that like I need to have like all these different variants. Um but people are talking about how like it's not working for her that well, and you're not going to hear it, except that I'm hearing it, which means like with the small, like the few voices that we do hear, there's so many voices that we don't hear that are saying this is tone deaf to the situation in the world. We have wars that are pretty bad. Like, we've had wars before in the world, but like things are escalating bad, and like democracy is in danger throughout a lot of the world. There's like really bad stuff, girl, and then you're over here trying to make more money. When like, what are you doing with that money? Are you giving it back? Because I could use some debt relief. Like, I could use some. It's not going to even feel, it's going to feel to you like the spirit change, being a billionaire. So yeah, send it my way. Send me a couple of hundred of thousands of dollars for my, let's just cut it in half, for my education debt. Like, just let's not even say hundreds of thousands, which is like about, I don't think I even have close to 200, but it's over 100,000. So yeah, just send me like 80,000. Just send me that. It's not going to feel like anything for you. But yeah, but it's tone deaf. I feel like the money, but also the topic is fine, but the when it comes to being vengeful and being so crude and cruel and attacking fellow people and fellow women, um it's not a good look. And but it at the same time has given me so much hope. Again, seeing the few voices that I do see, which are still a lot, and knowing that she's so good at marketing and SEO and controlling the image of her on the internet. So for me to see it, and I'm not seeing it from some obscure people, I'm seeing it from like Swiftologist is like a fan, like he stood by Blake Lively, which I still don't think that's a good idea, but like whatever. But like, there's fans that are saying like, "Oh, this was kind of a fail or partially a fail," and like, your marketing strategy, no, don't do that. Like, so I'm not just like getting the information from just like random people that have not ever talked about Taylor Swift before and not liked her anyways. And that's the thing that's telling. And so it gives me hope for humanity. It tells me that people are more awake than it seems based on what we see online, what we see as far as like politically and even with like something as, I don't know, frivolous as music and Hollywood, with Blake Lively and Taylor Swift and all of this stuff. Like, there are people who are like awake enough. They might not have a strong voice or yet. They might be kind of silenced, or not like literally, but overshadowed maybe at best. Um, and you might not hear it, but there's hope. And there's hope that people can critically think, and that people can have priorities straight, and they can feel effects of the world and what's going on, and that they're not sheep, contrary to kind of what has been tried to be done in the US. And they're not Borg. Borg to me means a lot more than sheep, because of how the Borg with Star Trek. But Star Trek Next Generation, I have not seen the first one, sorry. But yeah, how the Borg would w- describe being Borg and their mission, to make other people Borg. Um, or the B movie is another great one. So yeah, this gives me hope. People reacting to this and saying, checking Taylor Swift, like, hey, loved you until now. Maybe sit and think about it. And it also gives me hope, because when she's replying to the backlash and saying, oh, like, it's actually satirical, it's funny, I blah blah blah. Or she's saying that, like, as long as any publicity is good publicity, as long as you have my name or the album's name in your mouth, you're helping me. Um, Someone said that she looked like she's been crying. I mean, I think she was puffy because maybe of the time difference, and maybe she's partying too. I don't know. Maybe she's back into her like over drinking stage, to not use the A word. And I mean, with him, I would imagine. I don't know. But like, yeah, she could be actually deep down like bothered, you know, or eventually she keeps talking about in her own ideas. I feel like she's overcompensating a bit. She's doubling down on how amazing this album is to her, and how she's looking at the whole picture of her legacy. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, you like double embarrassed yourself, because in your legacy, if we all live to for you to be that old, because the world is not looking great right now, you will massively regret this album, because like, I'm sorry, from like a few years into the future, as far as age, like, you will not be proud of this album. And I don't even know that she believes that. I feel like she's really doubling down, because she has to, because she kind of is like, I have to stick to this narrative. I have to stick to this image. Burn the bridges, but I have to stick to this. Um excuse me. So um yeah, I think that whatever I just said, because I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Ken. My criticisms come from a true place, and I agree. I mean, well, yeah, I was trying to read that in a different way. It looks like she preached more peace during Lover, because she, I think, was truly in love. I love Daylight on Lover. I wish she would have stayed in that Daylight. And I remember, because Lover came to in my life at a time where it was very much reflective of how my life was going, or my relationships, or how I was like experiencing that. And I remember Daylight, and I remember Daylight came up in my life, not just with like like romantic relationships, or just the one relationship, but also with friendships and life in general. Like, life you can get sidetracked, you can get not bamboozled, but you can get sold on different ways of being that maybe are not great and whatever, and become harsh and tough, but you're not really tough. You're just like armored up and criticizing of others and stuff. But then when you're loved and when you love, daylight comes and you and everything's not good per se, but like peace, love, and compassion, and um if she's that happy now, where is that? She because this song on, sorry, I'm like, um the diss track on Lover was I forgot that you existed. But here we have like, oh, it's actually sweet and romantic that you think of me so much. I'm blushing, but she said it worse. And the father figure, like, no, it's my crown. Someone was saying like she's the mean girl of whatever, not our generation, but yeah. Like, no, my crown, my empire, like you stay in your place, you disrespected me, whatever. And maybe it is satire, but from what we know in the news, like it's not really because she has attacked Olivia Rodrigo. She has um attacked other people before. So like I don't know if it's like that satire. But let's say it is, but she's not preaching love, compassion, and understanding and peace. She's putting in our minds war. So where is that understanding and that like I'm not even bothered? Paris, for example. Oh, people are telling me about like this and that. Like I don't even care because we were in Paris. And I love that song. I don't actually like the song itself. I don't personally like it sonically, but like I like the theme of it so much. Um yeah, like I'm in love. I'm happy. So I don't care about the noise. Where is that, Taylor? She's she does seem bothered by this, and she should be bothered by this. She should take criticism into account. That is what an artist does. You're creating something, and you should criticize your art as much as other people do, and you should like really do think about it. And if you're putting out something that you are like, hey, you know what? This isn't that deep. It's a lighthearted album, which now she's kind of saying it's a lighthearted album. And I was just playing around and fooling around. And it's kind of just like, I don't know, excuse me, like doodling, like it's not my best work, but I really am proud that I just experimented with different sounds or different concepts or whatever. Cool, would have respected you. But instead, she's like, this is the best thing, my most favorite album ever. Not so respectful. And yeah, sorry, I go back to whatever I'm stuck on. But yeah, that's a very good point that she on Lover, she preached so much love. And I think having been there myself, I love and respect and like honor that space where you um at least try very hard to understand the other person and other people, and at best you can just let it be, like I forgot that you existed. And well, or at second best, and at best, like you are able to understand, hey, they're not perfect, you're not perfect, and to work for towards peace rather than ignorance. Or yeah, because I feel like it's this relationship is giving me kind of ignorance. But hey, like I said, maybe like we're not privy to their conversation, so maybe it's not that shallow. But um, one of my first podcast episodes, if you could call this a podcast episode, I kind of sort of do. It was what, 2 years ago. It was when they went to the Golden Globes or something, or they didn't go. But the one guy made fun of her, how really made fun of the NFL for how they kept showing her and stuff. And really made the NFL look bad, not Taylor Swift. But she got upset. No, she was in the audience because she looked so like, ugh, how dare you? Like, pretty much that face exactly. And Travis Kelce basically like trashed that guy. And I remember saying, how I don't respect a man. Like, I don't want my boyfriend doing that. First of all, like she said about her fans, like, don't bubble wrap me. I can take care of myself. I would say that to him. There is something as far as I think she really needs to be saved by a man. There's a theme that she won't let go. So I think when it comes to a man, like, please bubble wrap me. Please be my knight in shining armor. Save me and, like fight for me and all that stuff. I don't respect that. You fight for me if you need to fight for me, and I'll fight for you if I need to fight for you. And we can also fight for ourselves. And also, like, sometimes don't fight. Think of like the kind of not so classic, but somewhat example of walking down the street with your, significant other, and heterosexual couple, especially. I think of because that's where I'm coming from, and where she's coming from too, and how like guys like start whistling or like telling the guy like, oh, like you have like a hot girl. I don't even know. This actually happened. I was with my family, and I don't know if it was about me or my mom or both of us. I don't know. They were some like drunk dudes or something. And I think my stepfather like turned back and was like about to confront them. And that's when that was like, what would I prefer, if I was myself with my boyfriend or something? Like, what would I prefer? And this was very quickly, and I was like, nothing. I would like for him to ignore them like I ignore them. Unless they're insistent, then like, yeah, please say something or I'll say something. um so this like the way that Travis handled and how he belittled that comedian, oof, that was so gross to me. But especially now with this album, it makes it even more clear that's what she wants. She doesn't want peace. She doesn't want maturity. She doesn't want intelligence, depth. She wants a dumb jock kind of like attitude where you're like, just like, whoa, what did you say about my girl? And like just stupid. I don't know, being stupid and putting people down because she puts people down. And yeah, she says about, I like my friends canceled. I don't have judgment for people because I've been through stuff. Well, you just wrote actually romantic about someone who said that she hates herself because you exist. Like, she feels bad because she sees you as so much better than her. Like, do you have any empathy? Are you capable of like actually understanding the emotional complexity of that and the pain of that person? And so like, if she does something and she criticizes your audience and this and that, like, are you able to be mother, as she's called, which I still don't understand where that came from and how that's applied? And are you able to be mature and a big sister and and what a father figure and all these things and live up to that role and be able to like reach out to her and say, hey, don't feel this way or whatever? I do kind of agree with what it seems like Charlie had said, at least like from this track, Boring Barbie or Tacky Barbie or Tacky whatever, as far as Taylor Swift. Like, I mean, this album kind of proves Charlie's point. So that might be a plus for Charlie. Like, well, you have this diss track, but then like you just proved my point that you're tacky and boring, and not creative. But yeah, Sorry, I kind of deviated. I don't even know. I love her, but she'd have had more respect if she made a song from a place of empathy. Do you mean Taylor or Charlie? I actually didn't even listen to Charlie before. She was on some sort of show. What show was that? I don't know what show. It was not. Oh, it was like a very stupid but kind of interesting. I think Prime or Netflix. I don't know. One of those shows. Taylor in response to Charlie's song. Yeah, yeah. She. You bring up respect. Yeah, she. To me, she's not very res- she's not respectful, and she also I don't have much respect for Taylor at this point. Um I really don't. Like it seems like a very fast change. Not that I respected her before that much, but like I didn't really go one way or another. Maybe that's why, but this father figure and actually romantic is, like I said, especially after listening to Sympathy as a Knife and understanding a little bit more, I was like, screw you, Taylor Swift. That is absolutely cruel. That is not okay. Like, no. Um, and so yeah, like yeah, I don't respect her. And then also like I don't really respect her relationship at this point based on the songs and how she talks about it. But for that, I'm like open to changing my mind. For how she views and treats other women, I'm not. Because also remember, for anyone who is a big Swiftie or whatever, remember Snow on the Beach and how suddenly it dawned on everyone like, you know what? Every time she collaborates with women, those women are not heard on that track. And then she ended up having, a do-over with Lana actually singing, and she did a beautiful job on that. I feel like Lana should cover that. Maybe she already has. She'd just do her own rendition as well, because Taylor did, and they co-wrote it or whatever. But yeah, like I remember people saying like it's interesting because like when it's a guy she's featuring, he's actually singing the song. But when it's a girl, she's not. And then they were speculating it goes into her insecurities, consciously, subconsciously, that she doesn't want to be outshone. And so she sees women as competition. And I wonder if that's why her and Selena never had a song together. Also, like Selena kind of stopped making music recently, but well, now she had an album out, which was okay. Um, but yeah, maybe because of that, maybe they're like, we'll just agree to not do one. Um, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So she has a massive problem with women, and it's like, that's the sad part about someone being famous so young and then not being able to grow up. I was thinking about myself how as much as like I'm very scared I won't be able to have children, it's not something that it's not like my number one goal in life. I guess I just wasn't born with that like reproductive, you know, self-destruct sort of goal, um but I wanted to and I want to, and it's meaningful to me. But anyways, but I remember thinking last year or 2 years ago, like in a way, as much as physically I feel like I'm worse off as a mom because I have less patience, more trauma, more like exhaustion built up, more less patience. Did I say less patience? Less focus, less energy. And so in a lot of ways I would be a worse mom, but I'm also a better mom as far as who I was at 20 or even 30. I was quite immature at 30. Um, and so I would have, which is between 25 and 32, 33. I didn't want to have children. One, because it scared me because my little brother came, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is serious stuff. But also because I didn't have my stuff figured out. I knew that. I was very aware of that. Or I was aware, I wasn't very aware of what it was, but I was aware that it was something. And I didn't want that to be passed on to my kids through how I had, not solved it myself. So I think at that time too, in my late 20s, I realized that, but also didn't know that it was changeable. I didn't know that, like, it's programming that you can rewire, that you can reprogram. So, um yeah, yeah, like, I outgrew that, and I ended up finding answers and finding ways to be better and to heal and to reprogram, and I'm still on that journey, but I feel a lot more prepared to have children from that point of view. Um, yeah. Man, I'm like, I go on these, like, tangents and I lose my train of thought. Is Father Figure a diss track though? I thought it was about her old label. Yeah, people are saying that. I don't really think it's about her old label. Uh, but who knows? I actually thought you were in your 20s. Oh, thanks. I'm 39. So thank you. Um, So when I found you, you were young, wayward, lost in the cold, pulled up to you in the jag, turned your rags into gold. The winding road leads to the chateau. You remind me of a younger me. I saw potential. I'll be your father figure. I drink that brown liquor, which liquor is like a horrible word in English. In Romanian, it's liqueur. And I feel like it makes it feel better. Like, I don't know. I can make the deals with the devil. You know what bothered me with people's reaction to this song, and when she says this line, is that everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, she said the D word!" Oh, and excitedly so, and I'm like, this is so cheap. And this is exactly the stuff that I was saying in my first reaction, that people, or her, I thought, like, I didn't even think about people. I thought about her. Like, this is like someone who, like, is like preteen, teen, whatever. And they're like, oh, I know some swear words. I'm going to use them every chance I get. And like, just very giddy inside, like, oh, I just said that word. Not impressed. Anyways, this love is pure profit. Just step into my office. I dry your tears with my sleeve. Leave it with me. I protect the family. Leave it with me. Okay, so yeah, sorry. Get sidetracked. What made me think? I thought at first that it was Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know that much about Taylor Swift stuff. That much, that deep. But the little I know, that's what I thought. And then someone said more so it's not, but it's still like maybe Charlie XCX. Um yeah, I think there is no jury on it exactly, but um what makes me think that it's a diss track is, I don't know, diss track, but like a bad look, bad eh, mm, not good role modeling, is that she says, oh, someone says it was about Joe. I was like, okay. Um they don't make loyalty like they used to. Your thoughtless ambition. I'm gonna do this slowly because like it's too much rhyming for my brain to catch up to it. Your thoughtless ambition sparked the ignition on foolish decisions, which led to misguided visions. Still don't really get that fully. But I do appreciate, I feel like that's one of the best lines on this album, or two lines. But yeah, so they don't make loyalty like they used to. But you didn't think, and your ambition, and so that sparked the consequences that followed, basically. Um, and it like made you think that you could fulfill your dreams by getting rid of me, and that was the only way you can fulfill your dreams. But I protect the family. I was your father figure. You made a deal with the devil. Turns out that you want to fight, you found it. I got the place surrounded. You'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning. Whose portraits on the mantle? Who's covered up your scandals? I don't think she's covered up Scooter's scandals or bruschetta's or whatever. Um, Mistake my kindness for weakness. Don't think she was kind to them. I mean, just from the start, I feel like she went after it. And find your card canceled. I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. And that's the thing, too. I was the father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. This empire belongs to me. Leave it with me. I protect the family. And you remind me of a younger me. I saw potential. So it sounds very much to me like she's talking about fellow musician or maybe even Joe type of thing, but like more so the I protect the family, like how she took Sabrina Carpenter under her wing, and it makes me think like, oh, so is Sabrina doing what Taylor allows her to do? Um, I'm thinking, what happened to Ice Spice? Where did she go? I don't think she tried to be bigger than Taylor Swift and take her out. Um, yeah, I don't think so. But like maybe it's a combination of all these other people. I don't know that kind of she took under her wing and then was like discarded them because I mean people have said this about Beyonce that like there's shady stuff where you know people just kind of got not famous because they would have overshadowed Beyonce. So yeah, I do believe that in the case of Beyonce Taylor to be this massive, massive hit of a person, this empire, you're not protecting the family. You're protecting yourself. I actually just saw The Godfather for the first time with my sister and her boyfriend and a few weeks ago, but yeah. And yeah, I think we're all like, why? I think maybe it was just me. I remember though that it wasn't just me, but the concept of like maybe it was better when it came out and it's just not translating so well to us now. But yeah, it makes me think of this, which I think is what she was going for as far as the theme. Leave it with me, I protect the family. Like that's a mobster thing to say. But you don't actually protect the family. You protect your own self-interest and you want to be on top. I think that was part of this on here. I pay the check before it kisses the mahogany green. They said, or someone said, they want to see you rise. They don't want you to reign. Yeah. So she wants to reign. She wants to be the father figure. She wants to be the boss of it all. I don't respect that. I don't respect that. And I know it's really hard to be creative and to be able to um I think in creative ventures it's hard to like have not even democracy but like more like socialism. People are all equal. Um I don't know that I would put it in a song to be praised though, that concept and that thing. I don't know. But that's my thoughts on why I think that's maybe not a diss track, but something. So, man, oh my gosh, it's 11 and there's still a lot. So Travis saying that there are 12 bangers. um, and I said, was he the one that approved these? Because then it makes sense. And it makes sense why, if she played it for him to get his thoughts, it makes me think again. about like Joe versus Travis. I'm sorry, but like if she played this music to Joe, I don't know that he would have liked it. Maybe I'm building Joe up to be more than he is. I don't know, but like I feel like it tracks based on I'm coming from the songs that she wrote about these two different people and um yeah, like what came out of that. But like I can imagine that she's so enthusiastic and so excited about this album because Travis felt like, "Oh my gosh, these are so cool." And I said, not to promote the Dom jock cliche, which I've already done too many times on this live, but I've not seen anything smart about him yet. And that was a little too much. I kind of take that back because I also haven't seen that much of him. But yeah, I forgot about the Golden Globes or whatever incident. But yeah, from the get go, I was like, this is not the sharpest tool in the shed. This is not, relatively speaking or personally speaking, this is not the type of guy that I would want to be dating. And I, w- I was having, higher hopes for someone who has presented herself to be so deep and insightful and feel so much. And yeah, I don't know, opposites attract or maybe not again. But yeah, him saying these are 12 bangers, ha ha ha. Yeah. I feel like maybe that's why she's so excited and she's realizing that maybe next time he shouldn't be the one to decide whether songs are good or not. And so what I was saying with Joe, like the songs that she did play for him, also, I feel like in a way he matched or elevated her. Maybe elevated is not quite the word. I don't know, but matched her for sure. Like Joe wrote Exile or like the piano part, the root of that song, which is one of the most beautiful songs by anyone ever, period. It is haunting. It was beautiful and simple too. And he wrote some other ones too. Um so yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what happened with this album. Like it's a mystery. It's like it's a crime scene. It's only murderers in the building except with an album. I have such an eye on legacy. This is her talking. I have such an eye on legacy when I'm making my music. I know what I made. I know I adore it. That does not sound better. That just makes you sound stupid and not self aware. But okay. And then she says the rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you're saying my either my name or my album title, you're helping. And I said, there you go. This isn't a noble woman or a smart person or a wise human being or a good-hearted person or anything. Not your friend either. She's just about money. Someone tried to argue with me in some comment section about how I said like the reason she's this big and famous, it's not just her talents. And I said just her talent or talents. I said just. I didn't say it's not because she's not talented or it's not because she's talented. I said not just because of her talent because I think she is talented. And I think her and her family are very talented marketing wise, very talented business people, or so they were until they're not doing so great right now. Oh, sorry, but she's also talented as songwriting, and that does not mean that she is the best because she's not, and it does not mean that's why she's big and famous. Fame and fortune does not equal talent, capability, and goodness, whether it's like good heartedness or good as in you're good at what you do. Fame and fortune is not the same as being good at something. There's a lot of very talented people that we will never hear from or about. There's a lot that are, kind of here and there, but they're not this massive. Maybe they didn't seek to be. Maybe they had more ethics and more morals, and so they couldn't do the things that would have been required of them to do to be this successful, be this big, be in everyone's eyes and ears and mouths. Yeah. Um yeah. I hate that she said that. I don't know, it just made me very sad. Maybe I could say sad. Um, Let me pull this up here. Try to share. So this was the clip, the soundbite.
Yes. The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. Um, and art, I have a lot of respect for people.
Let me pause that because that bothers me when she says that. Like psychologically speaking, I'm not a psychologist. The way she transitioned was not rehearsed per se, but like stressed.
Chaos. The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. Um, and art, I have a lot of respect.
I don't know how to say this. Maybe because my brain is mush. Maybe because I'm not eloquent. I don't have the widest vocabulary and understanding, I guess, of how to put things into words. Right now, I don't. But there's something about that transition that feels scripted in a way that people pointed out how Blake would transition. Like not necessarily like she's reading a prompt, but that she had points to cross off, to check off. She had an agenda or gripe, I think people say, I don't know if I'm using that word right, with people disliking her album. And so I don't know, it's almost this kind of embarrassed moment when you're embarrassed and you're like, oh, well, like art is subjective and I appreciate and respect people's um perspectives on art that differ from my own, blah blah blah.
Respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. It's
And no one's asking her to be the art police. People are saying you did not do a good job on this. You're your own police about yourself. You should be, because no one else knows you better. Your craft, what you're putting, your products, like that's on you. It's not talking about everyone else's. And you kind of did police people with actually romantic. But anyways,
like everybody is allowed to feel exactly how they want. And what our goal is as entertainers is to be a mirror.
I like there's someone that says like, thanks for mansplaining. Please mansplain about this. What we all know, like this is why like this whole clip of this interview is so kind of passive aggressive feeling, or like not valuable.
Oftentimes, an album is a really, really wild way to look at yourself, right? What you're going through in your life is going to affect whether you relate to the music that I'm putting out at any given moment. And what I often love seeing my fans say is, I
And we're all saying that this is like middle school, so yeah, I guess in that sense, or high school, where we're not going to see ourselves through this. And again, like, I'm sorry, but at 30 some years old and you found the person that you're engaged to and going to marry, you should not be saying this about an album that has nothing about that. Like, yeah, you say, like, I see us having kids, or I want to have your kids and have the whole block looking like you, which again, we'll get into. But like, man, like, nothing is actually deep love and mature love and what what you're saying it should be. Dissonance, cognitive dissonance. Sorry, that's the term that I was like looking for. That's, yeah. Like, she's trying so hard to convince us that, like, oh, it's all good. You can dislike whatever. I don't care. Like, you're entitled to your opinion. But I love it. And art is subjective. And so if you don't feel like this is good, doesn't mean it's not. And um yeah, it's a mirror. So you must be, people are saying like, oh no, she didn't really mean, no, she did mean that. Like, if she's saying in one sentence that this is the best album, this is the album that I had the most fun, or the fun side, the playful, the joke side, the funny side that no one gets to see but my friends, the people that know me, know how funny I am. Man, if this is funny to you, like, you need some other friends. You need to grow up a bit, because your friends and you are kind of static on like high school humor. This is not funny. This is just, yeah, subjectively funny to you. But yeah, and it's so like, because she's so happy and in love, and she left her, tortured self in the past, like, no more breakup songs and all this stuff. Well, then show it. You did not show it on this album. And really, honestly, like, I don't even feel like she showed it, period, on this album. Because she talks about dreams. She talks about like, is this forever, or will my eyes turn violet like Elizabeth Taylor? She, it's the same freaking stuff. It's the same freaking stuff. I'm getting like really wound up. It's the same freaking stuff. There's nothing changed. There's nothing calmer about this. There's nothing like, whoo, I can breathe easy. I found my person. I'm calm. I'm good. All's good. There's, yeah. Phew. Sorry, I got really, really, yeah. Oh, and then singing this earlier part, sorry, about how, like, at first she was revealing like this album is coming out, and it was like supposed to be this like amazing album and so personal, and now suddenly it's satirical.
Is the cerebral with the emotional.
Yeah, I think that's a really amazing thing that you're cluing in on, which is that sometimes I'll use specific vernacular to be satirical. Like the entire first verse of Eldest Daughter is somebody trying to figure out how to say things that they've read on the internet, whether it be like apathy is hot or memes and trolling, and how do
Which people are pointing out the stuff, that the terms that she used are so outdated anyways. But
I keep up with how we're supposed to talk in order to describe how much we don't care, when really we all care about something, right? So then you go to the pre-chorus, and I go more into my own voice of, I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. That's
before I keep going, she said something very important to talk about, but like, it feels a little word salady, right? Maybe it's just me at this hour.
of, I've been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. That's the So that's the kind of flip of every way in which I was speaking in this entire first verse was me trying to assimilate to the way culture tells us to be.
I don't think that came across, Taylor. I just think that she did not hit the nail on the head. If that's truly what she was going for, it did not get understood by anyone. No one freaking understood that. And I shouldn't say no one, but like, I don't think many people understood that, because my understanding was pretty much no one got that from that song. It was all over the place. It was bad writing and it was not making sense. And that was not clear. What she just said was not clear from the eldest daughter. Maybe because I just remember that song was just stupid. Let's just move on. But yeah, that was a tell, and the verse was actually satire and blah 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 blah. Okay. So she talks about also how she's wanted her entire career to make an album like this, to have fun and mischief and be flirty and fun and jokes. And I said, except she sucks at it. If this is the best she can do, for anyone that has watched 90 Day Fiance, Sarper from Turkey, he wanted to do stand up. He's doing stand up. He sucks, I think, but he's doing it because he's famous and whatever. That's what it reminds me of. He was funny, and his now wife was saying, Shekinah was saying this, like, you're funny as a person, but not when you're rehearsed. Not when you're telling jokes. The jokes aren't funny, but you are funny the way that you react to things. She wasn't saying this many words, but the way that he would react to things or whatever. Like, there are people who, like, she might be super funny in person and she could be like witty and timely with her jokes and punchlines and all that stuff. It did not translate into these songs. There's no fun on this album. There's actually no fun on this album. None of these songs are fun. They're all some sort of tragic weaved into it. And I don't think anything's funny. But let's say we have different senses of humor. I don't know. But yeah, that's my what I started thinking. Like, this is like someone who is a funny person and they think they can do stand up, but they can't. Because in comparison, because I feel like I have to, I may not have to, but I feel like I do. Sabrina Carpenter. Again, I did not like Sabrina Carpenter. I didn't want to like her album. Man, do I like her album. Manchild is the worst song on that album. Actually, Manchild, and there's another one. Out of the 12, I also find it interesting that Sabrina did 12 tracks on her album and Taylor Swift did 12 tracks on her album. Anyways, but yeah, so the only songs I don't like from Sabrina's Men's Best Friend are Manchild, because I think it's like nails on the chalkboard. It's a cool concept, but sonically, it is nails on the chalkboard for me. Like, literally, like, it gives me goosebumps, not in a good way. And then My Man on Willpower, again, cool concept, funny. I just didn't like the song. But Tears, oof, witty. And again, I'm not even into sexual innuendos and stuff, but she does it right. She does it so well. Tears, Sugar Talking, We Almost Broke Up Again Last Night, Nobody's Son, Never Getting Laid, When Did You Get Hot, Go-Go Juice, Don't Worry, I'll Make You Happy, House Tour, Goodbye. Goodbye is such an anthem. Oh my gosh. I love the, like, I am not a Dolly Parton fan, so I don't know if I'm getting this right, but to me, not having listened to Dolly Parton that much, it makes me think of Dolly Parton or that kind of era. Goodbye. I love her voice, Sabrina's voice. I don't know. It's really cool. But yeah, all those songs. Life of a Sure Girl, the songs that I did like were kind of like pity liked because they're like good enough. They were catchy as far as chorus. Life, Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, and Canceled. I have Wish List on here, but like, I think I liked Wish List because of the concept. I thought the bridge, I think, was good. Oh, let's talk about bridge. Ooh, she had the worst bridges of her life on this album. Oh, and she's a good bridge maker, but not this one. She was not constructing things well. All right. Getting there. So before I go into Charlie XCX stuff, um, evolving, growing, not sad anymore, I think is something that she was saying in some interview or something. And I said, yeah, but you're going back, you're not growing up. And then, again, it doesn't come across like she's not sad anymore. It just sounds shallow. It sounds like she's not feeling anything. There's no feelings on here, in my opinion. Um, what is this? Oh, now I have a goodbye. Na, 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 na. Okay, stuck in my head. Yeah, I think I copied a comment that I wrote on someone's channel saying that when I heard that clip today of her saying that she doesn't care as long as people talk about her, basically, it's a win. I felt like, because I've seen most people that I've seen that were Taylor Swift fans be disappointed by this album, calling the album or some of it out. Um, that's awful to say about your fans, the people that like you. It's kind of like family or friends when your family or friends and you love each other and you discredit and discount someone's opinion just because it doesn't align with what you want it to be. Like, oh, you're telling me I'm too loud, which you are, right? Let's say. And so, like, I don't care what you think. I'll be as loud as I want. Or I've had this, like, I don't like swear words. So, like, I can tolerate some, but sometimes not. And if you're my friend and you're like swearing around me all the time, like, it depends, but, like, more often than not, it's going to, like, wear me down. So, if I say to you, like, "Hey, would you mind minding, the words that you use? Like, please don't use that much swear words when you're, like, telling me about your day or something." Um, and if they say, "Well, screw you," then that's not a good person. That's not great. I mean, it's not so much about the person being good, but, like, you're discrediting the value of another human being. Like, if they have a problem with that, if they don't like your album, if they're saying something and, they're having an intervention with you, like, listen, at least listen. Um, so yeah, I just felt like, yeah, that was hard to hear from that point of view, you know. And I said, maybe not right away, but I think in her legacy this will be a dark time at her own hands, unlike the Kanye West moment. Like, she created this for herself. And what I mean by that is not so much the album, but how she's saying what she just said. Like, you know, eh, say good things or bad things, it's still money in my pocket. And I think, and canceled and other stuff, I think that it will bite her. It will come back and bite her. And in her legacy, it's not going to be a great, just kind of, um, and maybe it's not going to have the same effect. But well, actually, I think it's worse than with Kanye, because I think she's canceling herself. She's setting herself up for the downfall of Taylor Swift, for being canceled. And we're not in a canceling, way of doing things anymore. But yeah, like, she's going to have to do Reputation Part 2. But, like, where it's, hey, I've come back after reflecting and I understand where I went wrong, like the adult version of Reputation. Although, I don't know, Reputation is a good one. I don't know if you can be too old for that. um but yeah. And then, yeah, more Charlie XCX, put that up there. um the variants, yeah, they're tough. um Eldest daughter being blocked, or videos with it being blocked. Oh, okay. So let me shout out. I mean, she's doing better than I am, but Ken's, who I feel did did one of like the like oh a good
We have to talk about it. And Swifties, before not that big of a deal. She's literally doing like countdowns and saying that they're limited editions and only available for 24 hours, making it like it's a limited scarcity to
side note. It was hard enough when she kept adding songs, but she was very clear that there are no other songs. These are the only songs on this album. That's it. No surprise songs, no 13th song, 12 songs. That's it. I don't think, I don't know if anyone really expected the amount, at least the amount of variants that she did. Even before the album came out, there were too many. Again, because it's not like she stops you from purchasing more than one variant, so you can waste your money away on it. That's not necessarily what I was going to highlight. I don't know.
fact sheet that I made. So Life of a Showgirl within the first 24 hours sold two circumstance.
No,
So you see the average American makes less than $100,000 a year.
also $83,000. That's a really generous average. Generous average.
Okay. So a billionaire makes about over almost 12,000 times more per year than the average American. Keep in mind, Taylor is double that. So 24 times more than the average American. Okay. On a time scale, what it takes a year for the average American takes a billionaire 2.6 minutes.
Isn't that absolutely insane to think about? When I'm over here, I'm trying to build something entrepreneurial. I really would love, I think, it's hard to choose, but I am working a lot on my relationship coaching practice or whatever. And when I think of billing people, it makes me uncomfortable to think of billing someone for an hour and a half more than $100, but especially more than like 130. And for therapy, but that's a little different. And also you usually can use insurance with therapy. That's like 230 average session. 2.6 minutes to make 80 some $1,000. And I'm over here having a hard time. And yeah, it's like, cumulative, but some people paid thousands of dollars multiple times to go to her concerts. So it's not exactly. But even from like businesses, even if I would go to be hired somewhere, I would have a hard time. My brain would have a hard time feeling worthy. And this is not really a criticism of me or the system. It's somewhere in between. There's responsibility on my end that I feel that unworthy to. I mean, I'm not going to be asking for $80,000 a minute, but or even an hour or a month. But like, yeah, I recently heard like some crazy numbers from like what two doctors or whatever are making at the beginning of their career, which is like $10,000 a month that they take home or before tax. I don't know, but still, that to me, I just cannot comprehend. I just And then it makes me think of what I was told, like, you cannot be rich if you don't if you're not stingy. And stingy isn't just saving money, but it's also getting money from people and feeling like you deserve it and not feeling bad about it. It's not that, but I'm saying in this context, in this scenario, this is what I'm referring to. Like, I just cannot imagine feeling that bold and audacious to be okay, like, yeah, this is normal. And she worked hard for it. I have never said that she has not worked hard. She works freaking hard. She is a very hard worker, like most artists are. You know, it does not excuse her to be this greedy with all these variants and all these marketing ploys and like, well, hate it or love it. I love my album. That's not an excuse for you to be working hard and having so much money. That is not an excuse to be mediocre, to be lazy, to be weak, to be weak as far as like your talent, your effort, and to like seek to get money from people that on average are struggling, especially compared to you. I think I'm in a place where I'm just so freaking tired of people, and there's not much I am knowing to do or willing to do at this point. I'm just so freaking have a good night. So freaking tired to I don't know, for that to exist and to be okay with it and pretend like that's normal and that like I deserve less than someone who, and for me maybe it's true, like I don't work as hard as Taylor Swift, but there's people who work so much, who might work even harder than Taylor Swift, that are not even getting the bare minimum um of like, what do you call that, minimum wage, you know. It just, I just hate the way that the world is right now when it comes to that. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's moral. And I'm starting to feel very much like I don't think that no one deserves millions of dollars of personal wealth. Especially because I mean I don't really know how it's divided and I don't know her expenses, you know. She for sure has more expenses than we do. It's relative, but like and I kind of took that off or took her video off the screen, but she goes into saying that for Taylor Swift, for an average American, grocery stores are like 6% of income. I'm telling you, that's a very generous average because I think it's more than that. For her, it's like 0.000 something. Like it's not even 1% of her income. Um, I don't think that's fair. And instead of you defending this album and talking crap about other artists and how like they disrespected you so they had it coming and all this stuff, and it's actually romantic how they are obsessed with you. I feel like from Charlie's perspective I can understand, and I don't know, I'm not speaking for Charlie, but my understanding, my interpretation of all of that felt to me like, how is this person so powerful and so rich, so popular, so yeah, so popular, you know, so their music everywhere and stuff, when she's not, I don't think in that sense, in this sense, she's not worthy of that, you know. She's not putting that much creative effort. She's not ethical, she's not moral, she's not, you know, empathetic, all this stuff. So I can understand the frustration on that side. I feel frustrated. And that's not even where I was coming from with this out, like listening and critiquing this album. It just was like, it was something that happened like now and after watching other things. I don't know. That kind of like dragged me down. That's just kind of like, yeah. I was going to also include variants, or not variants, sorry. How each song samples other songs, blah blah. Check Kansas video out. Sorry. Check her video out because she has like what I saw is a comprehensive list. I think this might be kind of the last topic. Oh, AI, that she used AI and she didn't know and Google did it to her, blah blah. I don't buy that per se. And Seth Meyers saying that on his show rehearsal, so it can be in one take, the music video, in order for the music video to do each scene one take. They did 2 weeks of rehearsal, including with the cameraman, steady cam, blah blah blah. I also said, is Taylor releasing bread? But the thing with the rehearsal, and I think that's not common, but if you do that, cool, whatever, your choice, your creative vision, try it out. I just feel like, what's the difference? But anyways, I feel like it's actually more costly and you do it more, but I can also understand. And also because Fate of Ophelia is not a movie, so I don't understand why it needed to be one take and have all this rehearsal for it. Because it's not that you're expressing something between characters that you want to catch, that moment of authenticity or those like random decisions that people can make. It's a music video. So, anyways, whatever. Did Taylor play Friedman, or is she friends with Blake? Is she not friends with Blake? I don't know. I right now don't care. I really don't. I will say that you could see in my early videos that I don't feel like Blake calling her dragon necessarily bothered her. Like, I don't know. I still don't know. I really don't know. But I said, like, if my best friend would call me their dragon, like, I can see myself not having a problem with that, because if you're best friends, you're like, sticking up for your best friends. You're, being there, and you will defend your best friend and like all that stuff. Especially if it's vice versa, which, I will say that it does seem like Blake would have that personality, that she would also like be Taylor's dragon. I don't know, but it does seem also that, gosh, I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, in a year from now, we'll probably know what happened. But yeah, Taylor firing the composer being fired because of Taylor was a rumor. It was in a Reddit thread that proved to be, everything else turned out to be very factual and accurate and truthful. And it was posted like, 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever. I don't even know what year we're on. um, so that might still be a thing. And in that case, why would they not be friends still, right? Um, maybe. So did Taylor play Friedman and Baldoni's lawyers? I don't know. Maybe. I can also see if her dad spoke to Brian and like went behind her back, and she's like, no, but like she's my friend, she's my best friend, whatever. Um, but her dad is like, no, but it's not good for you, or trying to have her back. I can also see, I don't know, I can see many different options to that. One thing that I feel very sure about, hold on. And this I feel very strongly about. Whether or not she's friends with Taylor, she supports Taylor behind the scenes, which I think is really weird to not in front of the scenes, but whatever. The Sisterhood of Traveling Pants review from New Heights podcast of Travis and Jason Kelsey. I cannot believe I know their names. Coming out. I don't think that was a coincidence. A, it's not impossible. I don't think so. B, canceled, being mysterious, not really being addressed about Blake or not, and not really saying anything about the merits of the lawsuit or whatever. It does. I do think that it has Blake in it, at least partially in that song, but canceled. New Heights sisterhood thing. Other things. I think, excuse me, I think they used, or Taylor used as much as she could to be distant and not involved in the case, but get the mystery, the intrigue, and use the case for her benefit and her being mentioned in the case. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that whether or not they're friends, or whether or not she supports Blake, she for sure took a ride on the wave of whatever scraps of interest that would give her. I mean, because like part of the reason I listened to the album was because I've been covering the Blake and Justin thing, and I was like, might as well, let's see if there's anything on this album. I really didn't think there would be, um but yeah. So yeah, I think they did, and they will use that. I don't think it was a coincidence. Whether or not legally or they played, or did she play Friedman, that would be sinister. To talk about that also, Harvey TMZ, go check out Popcorn Planet's video. Well, actually, I'll pull it up. My gosh, these ads.
Long to really sort of say this.
All I can say is this. I spoke to somebody very close to Taylor. She felt utterly betrayed by Blake. Felt that Blake was using her, not just in that situation, but with other actresses where she produced.
But how come you weren't saying all that?
Doesn't matter the rest for our purpose. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's very interesting. It could be his lawyer friend that's friends with Brian Friedman, and they're friends with Taylor's dad, or I don't even know how many degrees of separation these people have with them, but it could be something like that. But like Harvey seems to be very sure. Like he seemed to talk very like for real in that one. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really watch TMZ or any of that, and I actually don't like TMZ at all, and him especially. But I just kind of my ears perked up, and I was like, that's interesting. I'm not going to ignore that. I'm not going to ignore that piece of information. So yeah, who knows? Talked about that. Yeah, people feeling betrayed that the album was not about life of a showgirl, understandably. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. So we're down to the final two things. Okay. So Ashley Romantic and Charlie XCX stuff. Okay. I'm gonna pull up the Sympathy as a Knife lyrics. I don't want to share this space. I don't want to force a smile. This one girl taps my insecurities. Don't know if it's real or if I'm spiraling. One voice tells me that they laugh. George says I'm just paranoid. So she's saying one voice is telling her, like her voice is telling her that Taylor is laughing at her, basically. That's what I'm getting. George, her, I think now husband, is saying, oh, you're just imagining things. Says he just doesn't see it, or he just don't see it. He's so naive. I'm embarrassed to have it, but need the sympathy. Because I couldn't even be her if I tried. I'm opposite. I'm on the other side. Also, this is a good written song, I think. I feel all these feelings I can't control. Super vulnerable. Oh no, don't know why. All the sympathy is just a knife. Why I can't even grit my teeth and lie. I feel all these feelings I can't control. Oh no, I don't know. Um, and then it gets like graphic. Volatile at war with my dialogue. I'd say that there was a God if they could stop this. Wild voice tearing me apart. I'm so apprehensive now. Don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show. Fingers crossed behind my back. I hope they break up quick. Because I couldn't even be her if I tried. I'm opposite, blah, 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 blah. What got me was why I have all these feelings I can't control. That line to me is so vulnerable and like just man, like this is actually a very vulnerable and very good-hearted person perspective, I guess. Like just very real and raw and honest and like kind of being upset with her own self. Like, why am I insecure? Why am I affected by this person so much? Why, these feelings I can't control, I imagine could be jealousy or anger or um fear or hatred or so many different things, not on the positive side. I don't know. And so to like push someone that wrote this down, ooh, I just don't, it does not sit right with me. It does not sit well at all. And then, some people are suspecting father figure is also about Charlie. Like I said, I thought it was Olivia. It might not be either. It might be something else. If it is, doubling down on like this is tacky. Taylor almost called her blonde Barbie, but this is tacky. This is so horrible. This is like no, we no. Um, I said here I'd go to say this is why she's not been able to be with Joe Alwyn's and Harry Styles and whatnots. She needed a dumb jock to match her. I went low again. I went low again. Excuse me. And then I said, what kind of a low life are you if you embarrass and attack someone whose song stated how inferior she feels towards you? How even being close to you, she feels like she's not enough. Have you heard the song? Empathy and Taylor Swift are like ships in the night. Sometimes they meet, but most times they don't. So I said, what a cold hearted, iced vein, immoral, inferior person is Taylor Swift. At least in this perspective of what she's putting out towards other women, other people, other human beings that are trying to do what she's doing, that are feeling inferior, have stated that vulnerably. And if they made bad jokes and jabs and attacks, I don't know what would warrant Taylor to go lower. The Swiftologist was saying in his video, Taylor calculated that the best way to take a shot at Charlie was to make her feel insignificant. the belittling that's going on in the song is crazy. And he goes further to say that I think, I don't know if this is the clip, that he would not be able to take it. And he's laughing. And I think he's laughing, I would imagine, based on like the context of the whole video, that he's laughing out of nerves almost. Hi P. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long time. Um and yeah, so he's like not laughing like, oh, good on Taylor for like showing her. It could be. Let me see if this is the clip.
Saying for Charlie is because Charlie's song Sympathy is a Knife was really about, I feel inferior to you. You are so successful and so everything I have wanted and aspired to be. You're so that I can't even put myself next to you enough. Well, so Taylor calculated correctly that the best way to take a shot at Charlie was to make her feel insignificant. And the belittling that is going on in this song is crazy. I think I would die if she did this to me. She's almost doing too much, but no more Mr. Nice Guy. I feel like, you know what? This is a very satisfying, cathartic moment because she's so often expected to rise above for whatever reason people think that she should.
And that's the thing. The mirror ball. She brings out of you, and anyone brings out of you, however, whatever, wherever you're at. But I think that even he is like, I don't know about this. This is a little too much. And then he retracts, but like, yeah. And I continue to react to his reaction. She's just expected to rise above for whatever reason. And I'm like, it's called doing the work on yourself, the work, period. Working on yourself, therapy. Try that. It's called getting wiser, healing yourself so you don't bleed on everyone else. And so you don't hurt anyone else because you are getting hurt. It's called being an adult, not in a passive, dismissive kind of fake your way through the world way, but in the most centered, real way of kindness and love and knowing better and doing better. That's what and why she's expected to rise above it. And there's a difference in rising above. There's a difference in rising above it, face to face. If someone's really coming at you and insulting you, attacking you, belittling you, etc., and saying a song, making comments in interviews, whatever. It reminds me of what I recently was trying to follow, which was the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj feud or whatever. I don't understand why I don't feel the bigness of it. Like from one, I was watching on someone's channel, reading all of this because I'm not on X, and I guess it's on X. I don't get why any of what's said is that big of a deal, but I think because I'm coming from this space of like, so like, okay, if you want to like, get yourself riled up and say those things, cool. It's not really affecting me. I think it's like how it's Keisha was saying, um, that's her channel name, how Keisha was saying that, someone would call her boring, like it wouldn't bother, it wouldn't trigger her for sure. And it shouldn't trigger Taylor Swift. And I don't think that's what triggered her, probably. I don't know. But like that's kind of how I feel about the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Like I don't understand. I don't understand why people find it entertaining, because I just find it boring and like just like void. Like I get nothing from it. And the same thing is what I would expect from Taylor. Like if you're older, wiser, y- whatever, like it shouldn't affect you, like whatever. I don't know. Good, stay off of Twitter. It's It's a madhouse. Yeah, I don't I've not seen or heard anything good coming from it yet. I left Twitter years ago anyways. So boring Barbie in private, but you are in either way you suck. I don't know what I meant in private. Cause I think like she called Taylor boring Barbie in private, not in public. I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, but she is with this album. She's not saying otherwise. She's not showing anything else. But yeah, I don't know. I just got very upset at this. I was just talking in my therapy session about my cousin passing away from suicide. And you know, writing a song and saying alluding to things like that, like Charlie was alluding to, I didn't read that part. Um is one thing, and many times artists will, go above and beyond. I learned that from Eminem. Like, things will be exaggerated. And when you're emotionally feeling that way, a lot of us, most of us, if not all of us, feel very dramatic in our inner world, but it's not going to lead to something. But like I just feel like, didn't we learn to be mindful of what we say to people, because we don't know the state that they're in and where they're at and what could set them over the edge into something that they can't come back from? Shouldn't we think about that? Like that's where I feel like, I mean, if anything, actually romantic is what maybe would be a positive spin from Charlie's side. But like, because Taylor obviously is like, that was like old news, so Taylor's still thinking about it. But like, I don't know, it just really bothered me. It really got under my skin, that anyone would put someone down like this, be so cruel, be so sarcastic at someone's pain already. I don't know. Ugh. Ugh. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's Keisha. I love her too. She speaks too fast for you. Yeah, I am okay with her. I love her accent. I think it was like the other day, I was like, I really might try to start speaking in a British accent. And by start speaking, I mean you won't hear me speak right now, right here, or anytime soon, but like start learning to speak British. I don't know. Oded Puyo. Sorry, my dog. I expected better music from Taylor. Yeah, my son. Thank you. That didn't happen now. It happened years and years ago, but I appreciate that. Which is why I'm like able to speak about it this way. I guess, and I wrote this before thinking about that, but like both together, like w- why, what are we doing in a world where we know better that words can affect people? And if someone is attacking you and you are able to take it because you are more powerful, you are more loved, you are whatever, and if it's so romantic to you and you're not getting affected by it, then like you should not get affected by it, and you should be kind. I mean, a wonderful world would it be for people in Taylor's position, with someone who is trying to put them down because they're insecure by them. They would reach out and bridge the gap. We would have such a better world. But I mean, by the look of politics, it's not that way right now. I also want to talk about Opalite, and then just a couple of wait, Blake Lively was there. Oh yeah, I didn't know Blake Lively was there for Taylor when Taylor got canceled. They've been friends for that long, man. Oh, so like, yeah, I mean, that's, if they're not friends anymore, that's a lot. But I was watching some other movie, I don't know what movie, and I was thinking, oh, ooh, no, I don't know. but I was thinking, oh no, it was 90 Day Fiance. And I was thinking about friendships and girl friendships and stuff, and how I think people don't understand the work that takes. We take it for granted because it's not a, romantic. I just recently learned uh the brain wires the brain reacts the same to like family parents as to romantic partner, as far as like how affected we feel by those versus like friendship. But I think friendship is underrated, understated, underrated as far as like effort that it needs. um so oh gosh, or like overrated as far as like time frame. Sorry, oh my gosh, as far as like how long people should go about being friends. I don't know, but like in that perspective, I did kind of sit a bit more like, ooh, like f- for that long of a period and all that stuff, like this is not the worst they've been through, or like the first time they've been through this bad. Like, so like her song canceled, if that's true, maybe got worse after she wrote that song. Maybe it is like to the worst point, or maybe whatever, things have developed one way or another. But um yeah. Also, to that point of like, oh, because Blake used Taylor's name, blah blah blah, and I'm like, for the first time, I'm thinking deeper about that, and it must be something being rich and powerful, and/or powerful, to understand that being a problem. Because I, uh, I don't know. I just would expect like no big deal in a way. I don't know. I can see it both sides, but I think that kind of changed my mindset a bit about it. Um, And then I want to highlight, before moving on to Opalite, and then very, very fast and short, Meghan Markle, Blake Lively stuff, which we're not going to get to, the whole contract situation, and J-Lo and Ben. So, but yeah, so this is one of the worst lyrics I've ever heard. And I'm sure this is not the only person that has written this lyric on this planet, and that it's not the worst lyric on this planet, but it is absolutely embarrassing. Taylor writes, "Bring me a best friend that I think is hot." And I think with that, honestly, that should have been the last thing to talk about as far as Taylor and her Life of a Showgirl album, because that is encapsulating this like whole reaction and interpretation of this album, this whole take or opinion of this album, which is that that is the most idiotic thing. Like, bring me a best friend that I think is hot. It sounds to me like a 15-year-old girl sitting around with girlfriends, and they know nothing in this world. And that's how they talk, and that's how they think. And a whole thing of like, I'm going to offend people with this. But I remember people being into 50 Shades, the book. And I think for me, it kind of crystallized like there are women and men. There are people who have not evolved past the basic instincts, the primal, I just need to procreate and I need to find a healthy mate, and a mate that is a good complement to myself, so we can procreate healthy offspring, so humans can go on, continue living. My throat is really dry. And that's when people were reading 50 Shades, and there was a friend's now wife. I think at the time they were married as well. She was reading it, and they were talking, her and this other girl were talking about like Magic Mike type of shows. And I was like sitting there, I'm like, I have zero interest, zero appeal to me, this whole thing. Men's bodies, women's like people's bodies, like, no. And I'm not like, I'm attracted to people and stuff, but I'm saying like in that kind of way, in this kind of way of like a best friend that I think is hot, like not good looking, although you could say, well, that would be too hard to write and rhyme with and whatever. Okay, cool. But not like, you know, handsome or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's people, and I'm not saying that, oh, I'm better. I'm just saying that I feel like in this in this kind of context, there are people who have stayed at the primal need to procreate healthy offspring kind of instinct, and all of their cells are working towards that. I need babies, and I need like my, significant other to be hot, to be, I mean, there are men who want like kids desperately, to be hot, to be, meaning like to be, chiseled and whatever, like healthy, like what our bodies are like instinct is like, okay, evaluating this person on health, not like overweight, not, scaly skin or jaundice or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then there's people who kind of maybe balance that out with maybe not having kids or having kids, but just like not looking at things that way and just being more about the philosophical, the you know the next generation of humanity kind of thing. um yeah, Taylor is not that, but she fooled us anyways, which brings me to um Wood. Again, I'm not going to put us through this song. Mm-mm. But I did write some words in here in my notes about it. So I'm just going to cover that really quick because I just think like it's just so bad. It's so bad. Um wait. I have his, yeah. I wonder, okay, hold on. Oh my gosh, I hate these ads that don't let you skip. I'm not buying you. And you're so desperate. I'm not going to buy you any more than if I could skip you. Um, but Swiftologist too was his reaction was like he spoke for all of us. His reaction was all of our reactions to that song, like physically. But he also says, it's corny, not clever. And I'm like, yeah. Um, some lyrics are atrocious. This is kind of gross, giving me the ick. I'm like, didn't think of it that way, but now that you said it, absolutely me too. Yeah. And I personally said, as I was listening to it again, his love was the key that opened my thighs. I was like, let's not act like you didn't sleep with all the other guys before, you know? Like your thighs have opened for other loves. And also, like, I just, again, through this live stream, it reminded me of Lover and how much she loved Joe. And she insults Joe and all her exes. She insults Travis's ex or exes. And again, that's so childish, so insecure, so not mature, so not someone who is very happy and in love and feeling loved. Not that she's not. I think she is. And I think she feels it, and I think she is loved. Um, but like she's petty in a way that someone that's really found love and is in love isn't, in my opinion. But yeah, let's not pretend like you're a virgin over here, okay? And that you saved yourself for someone who loved you and who, was right for you and all that stuff. Let's not pretend that. That's insulting. And then the curse on me was broken by your magic wand. Again, Sabrina does it so cheeky, so fun, so whatever. She does not. Like, that just sounds just stupid. Okay, let me find this one clip.
Has been used in a Taylor Swift song. Suddenly I feel like a fool in my headdress. Let's just keep going.
His love was the key that opened my thighs.
That face. That face basically says it all.
I don't need to catch.
He just gets over it and over it.
Oh no.
It's a really good song as far as, like I said, like theme, or not theme, but like she should do more of whatever the genre is. But yeah.
Really quieting me. It's like one time would have been okay, but it's too many. It's corny. Like it's not clever, it's corny. Forgive me if it sounds cocky. He hypnotized me and opened my eyes. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. That is unforgivable to me. It's the redwood tree part that I'm like, okay, great. So you wanted us to know that Travis has a big, at what cost? Your dignity?
Yeah. I don't think she cares about her dignity. I don't think he cares about their dignity. I do think he cares about fame. And I guess now she's part of that, or she's always been part of that. Who are we kidding? But yeah, like, and speaking to what I was just saying earlier too. So what if he has a big redwood tree? I really don't care. Like, I mean, I think it was either Coupling, the TV show, the British TV show, or I think it was Coupling or Sex in the City, or both. The opposite of that, like the very, very opposite of that. Okay, cool. But like, I think also growing up, growing older is like, that's, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't. Like, you know, I feel, at least where I'm in life, that love matters to me more than anything. So I don't feel like how big someone is in their pants. I don't know how to talk about this on YouTube. Matters. If you're not intelligent, if you're not emotionally intelligent, if you are not a good person, if you don't love yourself, me, others, if you're not kind, if you don't do something with your life, which, yeah, okay, he's a football player or whatever. I I don't even know. Like, those are like simple words to say and concepts, and simple and complicated at the same time. I just, like, that is not something to be proud of, or to be proud of having. I don't know. To me, to talk about tacky Barbie, like, yeah, it's tacky, but also just like, what do this other people say? Bless your heart. Like, you're such a child. Okay, sure. Yeah. Hey, April. Welcome. I'm trying to finish here, coming in right at the end. I would say this live sucked. But I can own that, unlike Taylor Swift and not owning her album. Tacky Barbie. I believe I'm getting it from the whole Charlie XCX and her sort of thing. Maybe she said tacky, and then boring Barbie, I think, is what Taylor said she said. So yeah. But yeah, they should make a tacky Barbie. What would a tacky Barbie do? Have a 50 Shade book in her hand. And write the song. Or like be like a singing Barbie, and you press a button and she sings the song. Horrible song. I don't listen to enough mainstream music. I mean, this is the first I don't know that I've ever heard or listened to a Charlie XCX except for actually she was in the Barbie movie. I believe that she yes, Speed Drive, which I think samples Mickey, right? Like, oh, Bobby, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Something, something, something. Let's see. Oh, of course, commercials. Never had a talking. Fun fact.
Spicy and tastes like
Zero heat.
On the mood board. She my best friend in the whole
Okay, maybe not.
My mind jump into the driver's seat and put it in the speaker. Riding through the streets.
I really like the song, but I really like the original too. So yeah, so she has a Barbie connection. Maybe that's why she called her boring Barbie. Tacky Barbie watches the Mormon Wives TV show and eats Takis. I didn't even think about that. I don't know if that's why you wrote it, but now you made me think of it. Yeah, so 50 Shades book in one hand, Takis in the other hand. Although I don't think Takis are tacky, but just because it goes hand in hand. And yeah, and has yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like tacky TV shows. Uh Mormon Wives. I've not seen Mormon Wives, but oh gosh, I mean, just TLC in general. I do watch 90 Day Fiance, and it can be tacky. It's generally tacky. But every single thing, I was telling someone, some Romanians, like, this is called the Learning Channel. That's what TLC stands for. And they are like, there is zero learning that you do on that channel. Hopefully, you don't learn anything from that channel. Child mess, yeah. Okay, so oh boy, Opalite. I did not know this rabbit hole existed, and I'm curious to know more as time goes on. I didn't watch it either, but to make the Bachelorette a woman with 3 kids is crazy. Yeah, you made me think of also The Bachelor. I would put that. Just any reality TV show at this point, I feel like, is tacky Barbie's best, or not best, like hobbies or whatever. Wait, I have even better. I have an even better one. Chasing Kelsey. That's Barbie's favorite TV show.
On the field to the party was probably Colorado.
Even when he does finally learn half of their names, he still calls them Miss Avery in the Hunger Games, except instead of fighting for your life, you're fighting to win a relationship with a guy from Ohio. I just realized while editing this that this
is the first title, the first episode of season 1. Like, he didn't even believe in himself to find a girlfriend in one season. 50 girls, one tight end. Yeah. I would say this wins for Tacky Barbie's favorite TV show, which isn't on anymore.
The name of the
But yeah.
first episode is 50 Girls. Oh, that went onto the front. I'm like 99% sure Travis is reading a script from a teleprompter or
It takes to come out here to try and pursue love. It means more than you can imagine to me. This is real life. I'm dedicated to finding the girl of my dreams.
say what you will about the
I don't know why that sounded funnier than even the first time. I'm dedicated to finding the girl of my dreams. There's like zero authenticity to that. But whatever. Maybe he was nervous. Who knows? I will say that he looks very much like this guy that I dated for like a month and a half, maybe not even, that kind of screwed me up just by he was an F-boy for sure. I didn't know that term before. I don't think it existed around the time that I dated him, but around that time, he's wearing his Gucci or whatever. He was saying it's so Gucci. Oh my gosh. Talk about tacky. That boy was tacky. But yeah, he was Travis Kelsey looks really young in here. But yeah. I'm not fighting for any man from Ohio. I'm in Ohio, by the way. I'm not a man. But yeah, I've dated men from Ohio. When I learned about this chasing Kelsey, this is why I was saying he's for fame. This is what we're doing here. This is why Taylor Swift. He's like, oh my gosh, she's so famous. Oh, she's recently single. And I think again, I do think he likes her, whatever, but like, or I'm hoping, because I don't know. I don't know them. I don't see them in private. But they're engaged, and you wouldn't assume that they like each other, right? At least. But yeah, I'm like, what is special about him? And yeah, no offense to Ohio. I'm originally not from Ohio, so I kind of understand that. Um, on a national TV or whatever, for people to come or women to come from 50 states for this one guy, when you put Ohio next to it, it doesn't sound very like glamorous and worthwhile. There are good people everywhere and there are bad people everywhere. I think the context of him, I've not seen one worthy aspect to him that he's worth any of the glitz and glamour and attention and whatever reverence that he's getting. I love the good that you have for them. No offense, all offense. Taylor heard that and she was like, perfect. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Opalite, which is a someone good segue. I don't know. This can get dark. So I don't like Opalite. I don't hate it, but it's a little too little girly. Yeah, little girly. What I particularly don't like is my dad is into gemstones and their properties of healing or whatever, kind of someone. He's learned like what they represent or symbolism or whatever. So when Taylor Swift is singing about, and I said this in my last one, so I'm not going to belabor the point too much. When she's singing about the onyx night, like that's a bad thing. Like onyx is a very protective stone. So like, so one of the big reasons I don't like it, one is the childishness. Like it's a little girl sing. It's not, I don't know. I just don't like how it sounds. Two, it's the lyrics. Oh shoot, I clicked on, oh gosh, these ads, man. Oh my gosh. So I had a bad habit of missing lovers past. My brother used to call it eating out of the trash. Read that. Okay, that's funny, cool, whatever. But yeah, So all of the foes and all of the friends have seen it before, they'll see it again. Life is a song, it ends when it ends. I was wrong. Does it make sense? No, not that much. And then we go into the chorus. But my mama told me it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes. Isn't lightning striking you like lucky? Sleepless in the onyx night. Again, onyx is protective, but now the sky is opalite. So fake, because it's man-made. Opalite is a man-made thing. Oh my lord, never made no one like you before. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite. I don't think he was doing that bad. Let's just take, because before I go into like the darker side of this from the internets, I don't think that's he was doing bad. I don't think he was suffering. He's from Ohio. He's a white football player, jock person from Ohio who had a TV show and had 50 girls, one from each state, dating. And I don't think he was doing that bad. Because then like the whole thing is that's when I told you it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strike. So she says this to him supposedly in the song. If we understand, we might not understand this, because a lot of stuff doesn't make sense on her album. But like he was not doing that. Hey, anyways, my like pet peeve, my like aggravation with the song is this whole thing. This is just a storm inside a teacup. What does that freaking mean? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. But anyways, um, I was bothered by this. So let's go to the second phrase or the second verse. This. If I know that I said it on my reaction that I didn't post because I was like, oh, with music, I'm listening to the music, but I see a lot of people doing that. I didn't think of it because I'm still learning American stuff and I am white. So I didn't really have that starting point for one, but it bothered me nonetheless. Why in this whole like, because she's not even, well, like talking about like eating out of the trash, which is also, I felt like Joe Alwyn was not trash. Neither was Harry Styles and whatever his name is, the other guy. Yeah. Anyways, but so like why are we trashing these people? But when it got to his girlfriend, to his ex-girlfriend, it really bothered me. It really bothered me. Maybe it bothered me because like we're all an ex-girlfriend at one point. Just like we're all an ex-boyfriend. I mean, if you're a guy, you're an ex-boyfriend. Maybe that's why. I don't think it's exactly why. I think why it bothered me at first personally was that I think kind of more along the lines of what she did with father figure and actually romance is like tacky, old news. So last year to trash another woman, you know? Because she's implying here that he was all in, which I don't buy. I don't buy. And maybe I don't buy because I did see a story or like a video on Kayla Nicole, I think is her name. I don't remember. And so I kind of buy that he was not really she was not really the problem. And I mean, we don't know, who knows, but she's she's implying or stating that she was in it for like I don't know, optics or whatever, and he was in it for real. And she was it like just a pose for her, like she was using him, pot calling kettle. Like that's what in some way I feel like Travis is doing with Taylor. But anyways, and so she was using him to um look good or whatever. What I learned, and this was like I think a year ago or more, was that he kind of put her through the ringer, or if that's the phrase. Like he really messed with her, and I don't know, I can see that too. Again, I don't have reverence for him for sure. I don't have good impressions or high impressions of him at all. This was before this album. This made it worse. And that's really irrespective of that whole story, whether it's true or not. And there's two sides to every story, so whatever. I saw some clips online, and I don't remember which tab, and I don't know if I have it, but I saw some clips online of her being like taking a video. She was clearly drunk. Um, but she says, I'm pretty sure I have, like, you know, if you would give me more attention, maybe I wouldn't need to be on my phone and like film myself or whatever, post whatever she was doing. She was probably doing a live on Instagram or something. And I mean, that's telling. I don't know. I tend to believe that personally. I don't know. So anyway, so Taylor's verses, you couldn't understand it, why you felt alone. You were in it for real. She was in her phone and you were just a pose. And don't we try to love? But do you? We give it all we got. Do you? She did. I think that Taylor has given it all she got. I don't think Travis did ever. But anyways, you finally left the table, and what a simple thought. You're starving till you're not. I do like that line though. Um my understanding of this, you left the table, which is very confusing, doesn't make sense. Try a little better, Taylor. Like how she kind of said, "Oh, I'm not dating anymore. I'm done with dating," and then that's when you found someone. I think that's what she's saying. I might be wrong. Cause I really don't understand. I don't understand most of this album, but yeah. All right. So Opalite. My notes. Hold on. It's too obvious for an English teacher, and I'm offended by that as a former English. Oh, you're an English teacher? Yeah, I'm very frustrated with Taylor Swift being called an English teacher. Shout out to Gwen Stefani. Kind of always knew I'd end up your ex girlfriend. Oh, yeah, Gwen Stefani's cool. I was recently listening to. I think I was watching some documentary or something on her. And I don't like her music generally, but I appreciated her. I didn't know her story, and I was like, "Whoa!" Kind of like Cardi B. I watched Cardi B on Jay Shetty, and I don't like her music, but I'm for sure going to support her after that interview, even though it's really hard to follow that interview. Um, but yeah, I feel like she's a really cool person. She's got a good head on her shoulder, as the old people say. The way that Cardi, um, and Gwen, like she's really cool in how she like made her way in this place, in this genre that was not for women and stuff. Um, but yeah, with Cardi, like um I don't know that I've heard almost any celebrity talk that way about kids and how they want to raise their kids. And man, it was like so. I feel like I'm tired of saying this, mature. But I feel like either we don't hear it enough or I don't hear it enough. I don't, watch the right people or something. But I was blown away by her take on motherhood, Cardi's. And I was like, whoa, like this is an awesome person. And not just that, but also how she got to where she got, and how hard she's working, and how much she wanted her dream and made that dream happen. And I don't know, she's like, I don't know, I walked away from that Jay Shetty interview with her like she's really cool. But anyways, back to my notes, so we're done with this Taylor Swift thing for now, at least. and for hopefully a while. So according to the internets, and I, to be honest, I did not do that much research, but I did like surface level research. I guess to some people, Travis isn't the white football player that dates only black women, is a quote from one of the videos. And so people kind of pointed out to the cliche that's, again, for non-American people, like this might not be as well understood. I've
seek validation. Sometimes someone would pay me attention. I wouldn't have to go on social media. I wouldn't have to get on social media and seek validation. You're not even just drinking on the internet. Drinking your wine and you want food, live for the way.
Loser!
Look at me.
What is that?
Yo,
Obsessed.
it's
You're
for
obsessed with yourself.
me one.
To pick up on the
I don't know for how long that was out. um, but yeah. So I was saying that Taylor's exes, I don't think Taylor cares that much about who they're dating now, but apparently there are a lot of them are dating mixed race or black women. According to this, well, it was a compilation video, and that Travis supposedly tried to date Megan Thee Stallion or something. Um, I don't know what I said before that. And that the cliche or symbolism or whatever of white men, white women being protection or equaling protection, and black women equaling the opposite of that or not that. And then, so, Taylor kind of is the archetype. Taylor, like, living up to this or talking about this, how she saved him. Except that she writes multiple times how he saved her from, like, oh, these poor, horrible, horrible exes of hers. So I don't think it's about that, but that's, I feel like, a good conversation to think about. So that's why I wrote it. But as far as um the oh, microaggressions, that's the word. Sorry, I was talking earlier about that. That's the word that I was looking for earlier. Not implicit bias. Not even an inside joke, inside conversation for anyone who's wondering, like, what is what are you talking about? But yeah, so I don't know. I do, gosh, I don't know. I don't know to that extent. Um I don't know. It is food for thought. I think that most of these thoughts, though, are easily debunked, but the main one that sparked it, which is her talking about his ex and stuff, like, and how, like, Well, and you know what? Now that I think about it, an Opalite, because really it's this song. She sings like he saved himself, she saved herself. Like they didn't save each other. So I don't know. Anyways, um, Blake Lively stuff. Brian Friedman got sued. I'm very curious about that because the timeline that I see, Popcorn Planet has another one. What I remember hearing is that um 5 Feet Apart book was written as a result of the movie going to be made or something, and it was written in 2018. That's for sure because when you Google it, it's 2018. And My Last Days episode with Travis Flores was 2019, filmed in 2019, aired in 2020. And but he wrote the playwright starting in 2010, which is maybe hard to prove. I'm curious if they can prove that. I don't remember if they did try to do that. So what I do think, again, kind of like I was saying with Taylor, and how I feel like pretty sure that she um brain froze. Oh my gosh. Oh, that she's using for promoting her album just enough so she doesn't get in trouble legally and stuff. But the mystery around the Blake Lively thing with the sisterhood thing, I think that was intentional. Not that they're friends or not friends, but that she's using that to spark drama, mystery, intrigue. Intrigue is what I meant. I also think, I'm very sure, but I don't know for sure on either of those. These are my speculations. I'm pretty sure, though, that this is not a coincidence that suddenly Brian Friedman or Travis Flores's wife, lead wife, wife, girlfriend, um, is suing Brian Friedman for malpractice. I don't think that's a coincidence. And it makes me think of this like with Taylor's, you know, not coming forward saying, "Hey, yeah, I thought this album was great." People, I guess, are not agreeing and being, normal, with and doubling down on how great the album is for in her mind. And it's, we're all going to see it eventually. And Blake Lively's and Trump's and all these people, all these like sentiments of power wins, money wins, you morality doesn't win, love doesn't win, righteousness, rightfulness, correctitude doesn't win, truth, ethics, all that stuff, those don't win. Power, money wins. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep powerful. I do believe in that. I still don't believe Justin essayed Blake in any kind of way. Essaged. Um, I don't believe that or anyone else on that movie, but regardless, I stand by my support of him. I really don't think, I shouldn't say regardless. If it's really bad, sure. But like nothing that she listed out was like real SH to me, like, whoa, gross. But maybe I don't remember. What I'm trying to say is that, um, at this point, it's highly convenient to try to take down an opponent that you thought was weak, but it turns out that he's keeping up at being a good match, and not, you know, falling down. And I don't appreciate that. So I guess it's not regardless of whether there was SH or not, because that's not true. But like still believing that there wasn't, not seeing anything saying, showing, proving, or alluding to it being otherwise. um I guess I feel like I need to double down, in, at least in my heart, in support of Justin Baldoni and not Brian Friedman. Not that Brian Friedman is like an underdog and, poor, or Justin being poor for that matter. But like, I feel like Brian Friedman might be more wealthy than Justin Baldoni. He's a longtime lawyer, but um I just don't like this. And I'm, like I was saying, I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of immorality. I'm tired of power wins, not good people win, not love wins, not ethics winning, all that stuff. I'm just fed up. Fed up with that. So that's my take on that. We'll see where that goes. Blake's contract came in. I'll read. I'm sure people will read it. I'm not even relevant anymore in this discussion online. Maybe if I like start, coming in again Monday and Friday, I'll come back on the algorithms and things. But I I don't know if I can keep up with it. I might read that contract live, or I don't know, by myself. It feels daunting. Um yeah, we'll see how that goes, but she didn't sign it, so I don't know. I don't know. The Steve Sarowitz audio is coming out sometime. We don't know when. I was watching Popcorn Planets, a Planet, and it's Kim was saying that it's not been available yet. So yeah, so that's with Blake, and then Blake and Meg, and Taylor. And I feel like I've really entered the, like, who cares if they're friends or not. And this is not because, like, oh, they might be because of canceled. I realized hearing that song, it was kind of like, ooh, is she saying that? But then I was like, I don't care. And I think because this album sucked, Life of a Showgirl, because I lost any respect that I did have for Taylor as a songwriter, human being, girlfriend, whatever. Um, and so I'm like, yeah, keep your friends, go destroy people's lives. I don't care. I just want you to, like, get consequences. I don't know when, I don't know how, but like, I feel like Taylor has consequences right now. Yes, there's a lot of people that are praising her. A lot of that is bought, not necessarily literally physically giving money, but big publishing magazines and whatever, websites, they are not going to give her a bad review on her music. I don't think so. Just like benefit for benefit, kind of like bargaining, maybe not like buying each other out. And yeah, but like, there's genuine excitement, too, from her fans, and also genuine being distraught, disgusted, shocked, appalled, etc., also from her fans, and then people outside of that. But um I think that is karma. No, but I think it's consequence. I think that happens. Just like Blake had her consequence. Now she fought, like, oh, this consequence was actually not my doing, not because I was doing something wrong, but because he retaliated against this SH that he didn't even know that it existed. And and a year later, or whatever. And so but I feel like both did have their consequences. I don't think, things are easy for Blake. So I don't know, maybe it balances out. And I don't know that Blake can have back the support that she used to have. Some people will still support her. Some people will still support Taylor Swift. it does give me some joy to know that not everyone is Borg or sheep, and not everyone is blind, meaning, and that there is some justice in the world, even if it's not ultimately going to bring these people down and lift the people that might deserve it more. Um, and not over these, individuals, but like closer to being equal, So I don't know. Speaking of stuff like that, Meghan Markle, I only have one thing to say. I was watching this Mamma Mia Out Loud podcast I was watching it on YouTube because I had started about Taylor Swift, I think. Yeah. Then I went and they also were talking about J Lo and Meghan Markle. And apparently, Meghan Markle made headlines because she went to a Balenciaga show, which it still has a bad rap, except for everything's changed. Everyone's changed in the company, so it's not bad now. But um, so yeah, she got criticized for that. She got criticized for how she was walking. And I do think that was excessive. One thing that stood out was she had her feet up in a car in Paris. And the headlines, the articles, I don't know what, because the only thing I found was not a limousine. It was a car. It was like a van, maybe like van with tinted windows, but it was a van. And I did not find any evidence that she was just like relaxing as this van was speeding through, because the videos that she posted were like just regular driving through the city and taking videos as they were going. So people were very offended, saying, "Oh, like where Princess Di, where the accident happened, or a few streets from where the accident happened, she's speeding with her limo or whatever. She's like, just doesn't care, putting her feet up in this limo. How disrespectful." And I'm like, that is not what happened. Let's not exaggerate. You know, let's not become who we're criticizing, because I don't think that Megan exaggerates like that, or maybe she exaggerates, but like, I don't know. But either way, let's not do this. Let's not make things up just because it's convenient and sensational. Um, yeah, she wasn't doing that. So that's all I have to say about that. Like, just get over it. Like, you can't criticize how she was walking, because she was a little like, she seemed very like scared or stiff or whatever. Cool, whatever. That's a fact. Cool. But let's not make things up, and also she wasn't the only one with her feet up. I It looked like they put their feet up like when they got picked up from the airport or something. It was her with two other people who I don't know. I didn't do that much research on this. And finally, J Lo and Ben Affleck, are they getting back together? Reconciliation? No, it didn't look like it. Not from J Lo's point of view. She was not interested in any of that. I wouldn't say that Ben was necessarily interested in that, but maybe a little bit. I also didn't feel any or see any sexual chemistry or like tension between them at all, like some people are saying. So this is what one of the things that I found. She has this movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman, which I actually want to see. It looks really cool. It could be a disaster. We don't know. That Ben and Matt Damon were producers on this. Matt Damon didn't come, but Ben did come, and I don't know. Is it that big of a deal? I mean, it's not nothing. I'm gonna say it's not nothing.
One of your kids is a big musical theater kid. Yes. So what did they think of your performance? They loved it. Oh my God. You're here. I'll get in the picture right now. They are a big musical theater.
That's such a real moment. Like, I've been there. Like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I have to focus. Like, focus. And then they went off and did have the
Photo
picture.
right now.
All right.
I don't know who the other. Oh, is that an actor, the main actor or something? I don't know the other guy.
I know you mentioned one of your kids is a big
There's also another video where, and I don't know it right now, where afterwards they walk off and he like talks to her and she turns her head, so he talks in her ear. And I have to say, like, is she deaf in her right ear? Because like that one would have been more logical instead of she turns like all the way. Her face did not look impressed or anything. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think they're getting back together. I don't think there's anything happening there. But I guess it somewhat sparked this you know, uh, question or whatever, like, can you be friends with exes? Or like is there reconciliation or whatever? And like especially if you don't have kids, are you able to like be civil and like friendly and stuff? Like Ben and the other Jen is, or Mark Anthony and J Lo, which J Lo has Jennifer has been very vocal about how like, and I mean you've seen, oh my gosh, I saw them, they had like a reality show or something with music, Latin music, find the next Latin star or something. I don't even remember. I didn't watch it, but I watched it online. I watched some clips of it and they were going at it, how he's a womanizer and stuff. Like things were coming out live and things were not resolved. So, if there's anything, I feel like that would be Odette. Odette. That would be a little too soon. And yeah, like if you have kids, I do think there's a bigger incentive, and not so much incentive as like you're forced to. You're forced to do the work and actually get along and figure out how to get along and all that stuff. And it's kind of like housewives. I do appreciate this, and I wish that more of us would be in those kind of situations where we're forced to see people that we fight with, that we like don't talk for like a whole summer, but then you have to do a show and you have to see that person and you have to like have a conversation with them or like figure out a way to coexist, or sometimes not. um I wish that would happen more often in all kinds of relationships. I think that's really beneficial, and I think we don't do that enough. So I think that's why I think it probably helps having kids together. And they don't have kids together. Their kids are friends with each other, but like I don't even know. I feel like that's so complicated. Um and apparently a source said that they like each other much better when they're not together, because she's like the star or whatever, and he's a basically a dismissive avoidant. He's like keeping at a distance. And I mean, I feel like he's more on that dismissive avoidant or whatever side anyways. Even when they were together, there were signs of that from such a very far away, who knows for real. But like in her lyrics, there was a song where she said, I'm sitting here looking at my ring. um I don't know, something like she looks down at her phone and then he calls her. Like she clearly has some trauma around. And I remember having Ellen DeGeneres had A-Rod, right? That's his name, on, and he was saying that if he doesn't answer, like no matter if he's in a meeting or whatever, if he doesn't answer, if she's calling, if he doesn't answer right then and there, no matter what he's doing, where he is, like she's going to go off. And I think, like, yeah, that's a red flag. But I mean, I hate saying that because like that shows that she has a huge trauma, like trust issues. And not just trust issues, but like anxiety. It seems like she leans more anxious attached. Also because she's like marriage after marriage after relationship after, if anyone's like, what's her name, Elizabeth Taylor, it's Jennifer Lopez, not Taylor Swift, just a side note. But So yeah, it makes sense that they are together, anxious and avoidant, and that there's a spark between them, and it's, they like, we can make this work, and hopefulness to it. um but again, if you don't go to therapy and you don't like work through that, like, you are going to break up, and maybe you're going to get back together, and then you're going to break up because you're not really actually solving through it. You're just kind of hoping it'll go better the next time, or not in their case, probably. And I think they're both like, I don't know if zodiac signs are all that, but like, they're both, excuse me, Leo, so strong personalities, I hear. um I don't know, and they are kind of, she's for sure like, she's had to stay relevant too, and to fight for her way, and he has his own stuff. So like, yeah, I think, I don't know that they're better when they're not together. It didn't look like they're that friendly, but it might take time. And yeah, maybe it is like, again, if they don't know how to, are not willing to like try to make it work, then maybe, yeah, they might be friends, or they might not even be able to be friends, because if you have that trauma around, um the other person being very present and in proximity to you, and it goes into friendships too, then even friendship might be tough for her. um and she's been through therapy, but I feel like, I don't know. I do appreciate the movie that she made on the album that she released, and it showed growth, it showed introspection, but like, I think some things are lifetime growing, or like more years, more decades of growing and stuff. So yeah, and that could also have been something that if they could have found a way to support one another in that, and be patient with one another, it would have lasted. I do feel sad about them. Maybe it is, like, oh, they were young, they fell in love, they were so in love, and they, cancel last minute, and what a traumatic, sad moment. Because they were so in love. I saw videos like early on. She for sure was so in love, but they were both in love with each other, and it's sad when logistics get in the way of that. For me personally, that's like my belief. So yeah, I don't know, I feel sad. I was hoping they could make it work, but now I don't know that I can say I hope, they'll be okay even as friends. I guess I do, I just am not holding my breath, because it didn't seem like the I don't know, for whatever reason they, you know, made it work. They didn't. So yeah. Um yeah, that's kind of it. 3 hours and 55 minutes. Should I go for four? No, I'm tired. I'll just take this the 5 minutes or 4 minutes short of 4 hours. And yeah, thank you for joining me. The people who have joined me, April P and Ken. Welcome, Ken. I'm at least in the chat, I've not seen you before. So that was cool. That was fun to hear from a new voice. And sorry about my throat. Sorry about my like brain not being the best, and me not being at the top of my game today. Um yeah, but I appreciate you being here, all of you that were, and the replay crew, if any. And I'll try to come Mondays and Fridays again, but I at this time will probably just leave it at one time a week for now. Um yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you later. Um yeah, cool. Peace, love, and compassion, and have a wonderful rest of your day, night, and so forth. I don't know. Bye.